Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy.
Because it's one of those things where you always tell people about VR and they're like, yeah, it sounds cool, and it's not until you play it that he like messaged me and he was like mind fucking blown because he was playing super hot.
You know what, why don't we start the show right there so I can leave that in, because I think that's a fun place to start.
Cool.
One thing I thought was great over the holidays, or past week or two, a lot of people were talking about how they picked up a PSVR and they were like, I never understood what y'all were talking about until I put on the headset and was like, holy shit. There was a lot of that going around in our Discord.
That's kind of the worst thing about PlayStation VR, VR in general, is you just can't describe it to people. There's no words that you can use that will accurately
describe the scale.
Yeah, give the scope. And it was like one of those things where Brad was telling us how great VR was, and we were like, yeah, sure, Brad, I'm sure it's fun. And then not until each of us fucking finally got around to playing it that we were like,
Crispy,
God damn.
You played some Astrobot, right?
Yeah.
And you played some Astrobot?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all both seem pretty...
It's pretty crazy.
It's a good game.
I got it as well. I just haven't been able to pull myself away from Red Dead long enough to play anything else, really.
Yeah.
So anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. This is 4Player Podcast, episode 580. My name is Nick Henderson. I am joined this evening by Brad Simons.
Welcome.
I think you're going to have to be a little bit loud.
That was my Bane voice.
God, that was the worst. That was the worst Bane.
I can't really do a Bane.
Welcome.
That was like he decided...
Does he ever say welcome?
I doubt it.
Yeah,
but he also doesn't say it like that.
That was very much like in the moment he decided he was going to do a Bane impression and hadn't given it any thought.
What does Bane say? And then it ruined my impersonation.
What did you have for breakfast?
See, that was better than that. Anyways, Nolan Hedstrom is joining us.
How's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
And on the fifth mic is, of course, our video producer, Christopher Davis.
Hello, hello.
Hello. We're going to hear from him in the second segment. We're going to talk a little bit more about Hitman 2. But first of all, I want to start by saying thank you to Ed for being on the show. Not last week. We didn't have a show last week. Last week was Thanksgiving. So first of all, happy Thanksgiving to all of our stateside listeners. We hope you all had a wonderful holiday. Enjoyed all that Black Friday terribleness and Cyber Monday stuff. Anyone get anything good for either one of those? Anybody
No.
here?
So I tried to buy BuyDig. It's a website. I guess they mispriced some Google Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like $250, and it was on sale for like $30.
What?
And I tried to get it, and I didn't. And they were like, no, but here's the $10 coupon. And then I ended up buying 12 terabytes of storage because I realized I have a bunch of like digital shit, but I have no backups for anything. So if my drive were to fail, I would lose like a lot.
I got some stuff. I got some video game stuff. Some Black Friday stuff. From Game Over. Game Over was doing some pretty good sales.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On Black Friday, when they opened,
Thanks for letting me know, Brad. You have to drive past my house to get there, but sure.
Am I the person supposed to tell everybody about Game Over sales?
Well, when you're driving past my house to go to a game store, you could always be like, hey, Nolan, I'm going to Game Over. You want to tag along?
What? No.
You should feel bad.
I don't drive past your house to go to Game Over. I go the other way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is Game Over south of you?
Yes. You're thinking of Game Exchange?
Oh, I'm thinking of Game Exchange. Sorry.
Oh, no, one's a terrible person.
Game Exchange
Brad's
sucks.
still bad, though.
Game Over had some good deals.
Anyways, you went to Game Over without Nolan.
50% off all their games on Friday, 50% off all their systems.
Wait,
on
did you say 50% off all of their games?
New and used on Friday, or when they first opened.
Just literally just a complete 50% cut?
Brad?
I get emails. I don't know. There's a lot going on in my life. Leave me alone. 50% off all systems besides the newest on Saturday. So on Friday, I got some games. I got a half price. Okay, y'all don't need to know the details, but it was some good fucking deals. And on Saturday, I picked up a Genesis for $15 with a free game. Because if you buy a console, you get a $10 game.
Did you not already have a Genesis?
No, that's
Who
like
owns a Genesis.
That's like the only.
I thought he did.
Well, I mean, I have like a Saturn and a Dreamcast. I mean, I have pretty much everything I want, but I never really got a Genesis because there's all these Genesis collections, and I don't have any Genesis games because I didn't play one when I was young. I mean, I've played Genesis games, but it's on these collections, and pretty much all the good Genesis games are on those outside of licensed games.
Yeah.
So I picked up Genesis finally just because it was so fucking cheap and it came with the free game. And I picked a licensed game that's not going to come to any collection. I got the second Cool Spot game, which I don't think is very good, but I had to pick a $10 or less game and they didn't have many to choose from. But then I'm also going to pick up like some of the Disney games like Aladdin and Lion King and stuff and like NBA Jam, the stuff you're never going to see on a collection because it's licensed. So I'll have some stuff to play.
Well, that's cool. You know, Robin was like this close to buying a Switch because she couldn't stop playing 7 Billion Humans.
Were there any good Switch deals? I tried to find one and I couldn't.
I mean, there were just bundles.
There was that Facebook thing which had it for like only some people could get it, but it was like $180.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
God damn it!
Yeah. Anyway, I think Black Friday deals are going to come up again in the Patreon segment of the show, so we'll loop back around here and talk about that later in the show. So, like I said, thank you to Ed for being on the show. Hopefully, we have him on again very soon. Happy Thanksgiving, all that jazz. Of course, I want to remind everybody, I know it's been 2 weeks. You forgot that we had a podcast last week because we didn't do a show, but we'd like to remind everybody, if you're watching us live on twitch.tv/4Player Podcast, you can also find us in Discord at discord.gg/4Player. You can find our podcast live archive at 4playernetwork.com, and you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And I want to start by reading some feedback from our last episode of the show, which Chris Davis is going to pull up here in just a moment. And our first comment comes from Warm Coat.
Ooh.
Warm Coat got a little, I don't know. He goes, on the weapons y'all were talking about Red Dead.
Correct.
No. Yes, Red Dead Redemption. Sorry, I said y'all, and then I was like, wait, was I in this podcast? And I realized I wasn't. On the weapons equipment or equip complaint from Red Dead Redemption 2, quote unquote, you can keep your pistols. That's because they're in your holsters.
They're in your holsters, sure.
If your long guns are stored on your horse, you have no access to them. And then he gets snarky and he says, this isn't hard to understand after playing a decent amount of the game. But I actually responded to this.
Whoa,
and
Warm Coat. Fucking calm down.
Nick has feedback.
I have feedback myself. I'm not going to read my feedback because I'm actually here. I can just say what I'm... Basically, I respond. I think the complaint in regards to not being able to keep your... like. Getting off the horse and having your pistols, of course, makes sense.
Sure.
And of course, leaving your your rifles and stuff on the horse makes sense.
Sure.
But from a gameplay perspective, in the interest of like making the game fun for the player, you would think there would be... It's a quality of life thing. You would think you'd be able to have loadouts that come with you.
Yeah.
Well,
I know they're going for ultra realism, but there are some points where it kind of it crosses a line and it gets kind of annoying.
It's the
That's all we're
concept
saying.
of you have a holster for your long gun on your horse.
Yeah.
That you stick your gun in, and it would make sense that when you got off your horse, you might want to bring that with you.
Just do it automatically.
But you don't. It doesn't
But you
happen.
know what? Here's the thing. I really support this idea of them making basically a sim, a cowboy sim, because like everything is super
Fuck
realistic.
Rockstar. Game sucks.
But I also think maybe this would have been a good feature to like, for a usability standpoint, to like have it a toggle, like a setting. Like say, do you want to have loadouts or do you want it to be like a sim?
That is a trend that I would like shout from the rooftops about. That's a good idea. I would love to play Red Dead and not have to like slowly lift a dude just to like loot him every fucking time. Because these shootouts, you just killed like 20 of them and now you got to do it to all of them. I mean,
Brad, just make sure they're on like some rocks or something, because then you just automatically loot them real quick.
Yeah, make sure they fall in
it's
inconvenient
weird.
places. So you
Yeah.
can
I mean,
automatically
also
pick them
no
up.
cowboy would shoot like 1 million dudes in the course of his weeks. How long?
Clearly, you're
how
not
long
a
is
very
the
good
story?
cowboy.
White Burrow in chat says, you also walk slow as fuck. Nick has Rockstar beer goggles. I'm not sure what that means, but sure.
Nick has always been fond of the cool walk, though.
First of all, I don't have Rockstar beer goggles. Before this game, I would never have described Rockstar, even after this game, I would never describe Rockstar as like my favorite video game developer. I think they're great at what they do and they make great games, but like GTA has always been fun, but it's never been like top 10 of all time material for me. God. Like Red Dead's material just speaks to me more than GTA
That's
does.
such a fucking good idea to have like an option that's just like across the board, like cinematic controls versus fun. Or don't call it fun. That's
call it
condescending.
call it
I don't know, man. I'm getting flashbacks to our Shadow of Colossus discussion.
Remind me. I don't remember what that
Cinnamon.
We
discussion.
talked a lot about the horse in Shadow of
Yeah.
Colossus.
Oh, right.
And how like unintuitive it is, but how like
Realistic.
maybe that's the point, and
Yeah.
that's the artistic vision. And does controlling a game in a certain way convey a certain sense of artistic?
You're right.
But that's more of a
bullshit.
focused like art piece. I know that's bullshit. Versus
is this not?
Dude, I think
no, versus more of a like design philosophy across all of their games sort of thing. Like I don't think that's related to like the theme of an individual game like it is in maybe Shadow of the Colossus.
You know
That's
what?
just the way
I
Rockstar
think-
games
I think
are.
we should
but I
move
think-
on.
Yeah. It's
I
interesting
don't know.
discussion
I mean,
though.
I mean, I do think that this game is kind of markedly more ponderous or plotting, as I've heard some people describe it,
In what way?
than even other Rockstar games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, just in that a lot of things move slowly, and a lot
Oh,
of
no,
things,
that's definitely
and
true.
a lot of things are much more like, again, like Nick was saying, like lean more towards trying to capture a feeling, trying to capture like a pastiche, than they are trying to like get the player into
Fun scenarios. Or...
yeah.
Sure.
Well,
I'm just saying
I wouldn't
like
even characterize it like that, Nick.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
sure,
like,
but that's broad and still something that stretches across all their
Sure.
games as opposed to like a very focused thing of whether he succeed or not, I want the horse to feel real. That's it.
Sure. All right, we need to move on. I will say, I had a thought and I lost it. Fuck, what was I going to say? You're killing me. Anyways, let's move on. Hey, since I do want to read this feedback, but since I left it, I'd prefer... Would somebody else like to read this feedback?
Fuck you. Greetings, future Nick. This is already stupid. You are looking dapper. I love that Dexter shirt. You're so
son of a
lame.
bitch.
You're so lame.
Commit to the bit!
Anyways, the discussion
Committed
about
to
You
the
left
bit.
this comment a week and 2 days ago.
anyways,
You gotta
did you set a reminder in your phone to wear that shirt tonight?
I think
Maybe.
Nick wears Dexter shirts every day.
Commit to the bit!
what's more pathetic, that he planned this or that he's just coincidentally wearing a Dexter shirt? Anyways, the discussion about VR and Astrobot led to Brad. This is weird. Led to Brad mentioning that he wants Mario in VR. This got me thinking about the likelihood of us seeing Nintendo delve into the VR space. Is it likely? If so, this is more of a question than feedback. If so, will the hardware be able to compete, or will it be a cheap alternative that doesn't compare to the tech standards set by Sony and Oculus? Thanks for holding down the fort in my absence. Sincerely, past Nick.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I
But
mean,
but
so-
what about that new
Just
Oculus?
we don't
that's
have to discuss
standalone?
it right now. Just a question to
but
ponder.
the question is addressed to future Nick, so only Nick can
Yeah,
answer.
that's true. That's true.
Oh, no!
Go for it.
You're right. I did address myself. Shit. I didn't think this one through. Moving on.
You think
wait,
think
hold
that
on.
if and when Nintendo does get into VR, they're gonna do it the
Wait,
same way they get into
Nintendo was the
everything?
first in VR.
That's true.
Nintendo
Don't
was the
pull up
first
Virtual
in
Boy.
VR.
Yeah, the Virtual
They had the
Boy.
Virtual
True.
Boy.
Right?
It was a similar effect.
Yeah, that's
It was
true.
3D and
Yeah. Fucking Mario
How would,
Tennis.
how would VR even work with the Switch?
It was
It
black
wouldn't.
and red, just like
Yeah.
the real world.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
It
my
wouldn't. I
goodness.
honestly don't think there's a way that you could do VR with the Switch. They would have to have a new console or a new, like, almost portable Oculus-esque, like Nintendo goggles or some shit. That's like a standalone thing that does VR. I think it would be very difficult to,
there
put
was
VR into the Switch. I mean, the whole thing with, PlayStation VR, there's this little box that does a little bit of processing, not much.
I feel like it would have to be an entirely separate, detachable thing, and it would also be, I feel like it would, ultimately, if you ended up seeing it, would be like, those things people have where they connect their cell phones to it, and then like hangs with
Yeah.
their
like
face.
Google
well,
Cardboard.
that
like
thing
that.
exists for the Switch. I don't know what the it's not like official.
Dude, I'd be worried about that falling off my head.
It's not in a. So it's funny because I found out about this through watching a video from that plagiarist. I was just kind of wanting to see what he was up to. He talks a lot about like weird peripheral tech and stuff. I mean, don't support that guy, obviously.
Sure.
But there is like a device made by some company that you do slide the Switch into, and I don't really know the software that supports it, but it doesn't really work like you would want, and obviously that tech's not really designed that way, and the resolution's not good enough. But I could see Nintendo maybe going in that direction. but it couldn't be with the Switch. It would have to be with
It'd have to be its own thing.
a new
But then,
hardware.
But then if they released a Mario game, you would it be on the Switch, or would it be on whatever this VR thing is, or would it be on both? And suddenly they're dividing their audience.
Something
again.
I think they could do is kind of the concept of what we originally thought the PlayStation Pro was going to be.
Yeah.
Like originally we thought it was going to be some attachment for the PlayStation that
Yeah.
kind of boosted its power.
Just
or
do like
whatever.
a Switch
So
Plus.
yeah, you could just essentially have something that plugs into. The Switch only has a USB 3. I don't know if that would be. I guess the bandwidth would probably be fast enough onto that to kind of like maybe some like.
We are
Whatever.
already living in an age of what do you call it? 2-year cycles where they upgrade their systems every 2 years.
That's
right?
it.
They could
I
call
mean,
it
but
the-
like you already know we're gonna get a new version
You know
of
what
the
they would
Switch
call
in the
it?
next year. So
They would call it the Aru.
oh no, the Switcheroo! I like it actually. That's pretty good.
okay.
But yeah, what if the Switch console or the Switch version 2, whatever that we get next year, which is I think is what everyone's kind of predicting is going to happen. Like,
Boo.
what if it has some kind of Switch VR capability built in?
I'm going to lean towards
Just a
no,
thought.
but yeah.
Just a thought. Anyway, our last comment comes from Drew327. He says, "Quick hunting tip on Red Dead. If you hit RB or RT on or right trigger on PS4 for show info, it always ends with use blank for a clean kill, so you know what to use to preserve the pelt."
Really?
It does, yeah.
What the fuck? I never knew that.
Yeah, it does do that.
God damn.
I still haven't hunted anything. I did see one guy at the camp was like, "Hey, you want to go hunt something?"
And you said no.
and I didn't do that one.
Always go out when there's people at your camp that ask you to go do that with.
No, it was like the introduction to hunting.
Well, I know, but a lot of the Lenny.
Man,
Lenny wanted you to go hunting.
You are
with him.
vehemently against hunting, aren't
Brad, I would say just always do when the people at your camp ask you to do
time-consuming.
that. Always
is.
do it because sometimes it will unlock new abilities and stuff.
It is definitely time consuming, but it is so just I get lost in that game when it's just such a unique feeling. I don't know. I spent 3 hours hunting for the rarest horse in the game, and it turned. Remember the other week when you asked about, can you just go up into the mountains and live up there for a while? I did that. I went up into the mountains. I made a camp, and you can leave your camp there and wander around, and you'll see smoke in the distance. You can always come back to it.
Your camp will stay there.
I
Yeah.
set up a camp, and I spent like 2 or 3 days worth of time in the mountains trying to capture this horse. And I didn't capture the horse, but when I finally decided to move on, I was like, that was like an adventure.
You know,
It was a thing it was a mission I went on myself.
I don't
and that
know
was
what the
cool.
odds are of encountering that horse.
I
but,
encountered
like,
him. I found, like, literally, I came over the hill and I saw him, like, as soon as I entered the area. And I was like, that's him. I'm done.
Because
And I tried to tame him like 6 times.
Oh, wow.
And this game, one thing, it's harder to gauge. You know, in the first game, it was really easy to gauge
it was
which way to
easy
lean.
tell, yeah.
It's harder in this game.
It's a little bit more difficult than this. I
And
definitely
not to mention, he's like really wild.
got
And
knocked
he's,
off a
He's like
horse.
he threw me off of a cliff once, and then I lost him because he's pure white and he's in the snow.
Yeah.
so this might seem a little weird. I know we.
Yep, that's
You
weird.
were talking about how much you like hunting in Red Dead,
Yes.
and people were like, "Oh, you should play like a Cabela's game." And you're like, "Yeah, fuck you. You're just being a jerk."
I didn't say that.
There
but
actually is, I think, maybe some like more respected hunting games out there that are more about like kind of being immersed in that experience where a hunt is like a long and arduous process. There's this game called The Hunter that's actually made by Avalanche.
I know
I
that
do
one,
like
yeah.
Avalanche a lot.
I don't know if it's like a thing that people, I don't know much about it, but I have heard like Gamers with Jobs talk about it like years ago, and it sounded like kind of the experience that you are getting out of this, but maybe more of a sim.
And that does sound interesting, but I think the reason it appeals to me in this game is purely just because it exists within a bigger thing that I think is also amazing.
Sure. I'm just saying.
I mean, you're probably right.
There
not
are-
to mention, if it's by Avalanche, I'd probably be interested in trying it, because I do like that studio a lot.
Open world island, it's...
That could be cool. That could be cool. Anyways, that's it for feedback, guys. Thank you so much. If you have anything you want to say after tonight's episode about any of the conversations we're about to have, please leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com for the post on this episode, and we'll get to it at the start of next week's show, which, by the way, we might not have a standard show next week because next Thursday night is the Video Game Awards. Woo! So we're not sure how we're going to handle that just yet, but in all likelihood, we'll probably be doing a live hangout, watch the VGAs together in lieu of a regular podcast. But we'll see if we can still produce some kind of podcast content for next week. Anyways, let's move on. We have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. By the way, I didn't mention, if you're watching us live, Brad is wearing a face mask.
Yes, I sound a little muffled.
We didn't we didn't mention that at all, so it probably seems kind of strange, people. He had a brief cold, I guess. So we're playing it safe here, right? Thank you, Brad.
I currently have a cold.
Currently have a cold.
Just to be clear.
I was trying to be optimistic.
Yeah.
But he is wearing a face mask for our protection. Crispy's freaking out. All right, Brad.
I'm also wearing purple today.
You what? Is it today?
my-
Is that in solidarity with your new favorite game of all time?
No, it's just, my stupid Twitch jacket, which is the lightest jacket I have. And
Well,
I am playing Spyro the Dragon,
I
Nick.
feel like this moment would never come, but here we are, 2018. Brad,
All right, I'm
you've
briefly going to take this off while I talk about
Fair enough.
Spyro.
Oh, God.
you've been playing
Less muffled.
Spyro the
The
Reignited
spit's gonna
Trilogy.
fly, so you best back up.
Just FYI, I'm gonna let you lead this conversation. I did play like 45 minutes to an hour of this last night, but you've played a lot more of it
Okay,
than
but
I have.
you do have a history
I do
of
have a
Spyro.
I've
What
played
is-
the first one and about half of the second one.
Okay, so I briefly popped in that first one, but I actually skipped to Riptos Rage,
Oh,
the
really?
second one, because I watched Henry play a lot. This happens a lot, it seems.
Would you watch Henry play?
I watched Henry play a lot of the first Spyro for 1998 month.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, let's skip to Riptos Rage instead of replaying all this stuff that I
Riptos
watched.
Rage is the second one, right?
Yes, the second one, second Spyro game,
So
which
can
I have had people recommend to me as maybe a better place to start.
Can I talk to you about Spyro for a second, bro?
Sure.
So I never played Spyro when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That I say kid, young teenager, and that's
Really?
main-
I thought that was a lot of. Well, I guess this is a PS1 game.
yeah,
No,
PS1. So or I guess whatever, 10, 12, whatever.
This was
it
pre-high school for me.
It was because
98.
and
middle school.
the reason was because I had a PlayStation with like 2 games on it. And I always wanted to play Spyro. I always did. And I would go to like Walmart or Target and they would have it on display and I would play it there. But I never owned it. And that, in all honesty, is the only reason I never played Spyro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to when I was younger, but because I didn't have it, because my parents didn't buy it for me, I just never got around to actually playing it.
I never really played these games when I was younger either, but I was not really that young, I guess, then. I was in high school when Spyro came out.
Did the footage you capture for this, is this from Riptos Rage?
This footage, yes, is from Riptos Rage.
Okay.
And so I've had people recommend Riptos Rage to me first because it's a little harder than that first game, and there's a little more going on.
To be honest, I
That
don't
first
even
game-
remember the format of
Wait,
Riptos
Ice
Rage.
Climbers are in
Well,
Spyro?
it's similar to the first one, but in the first game, all you do is collect gems and find the little dragon statues.
Correct.
Yeah.
The dragon statues aren't back in this one. Now you're finding gems, of course. That is still the main thing you're collecting. But then you're collecting these gems that each world or each level has like a few of them, and usually you're getting those through like little mini games or little challenges versus just finding a statue. That first Spyro the Dragon game is like super simple.
I mean,
and it's probably why I was so like, this is a fucking baby game.
Well, here's the thing.
Back in a year when I was playing Metal Gear Solid.
So
and
just
Tactics and-
just as kind of an aside, because what I played last night was of the first Spyro, which
Yes.
is the one I have the most history with.
Yes.
And it's been a long time since I've touched that.
Yes.
And I will say this: after playing about 45 minutes of it, I 100%ed like 3 or 4 worlds.
Oh, wow.
In that short amount of time.
levels, you mean?
Yeah, levels.
Yeah.
And
Well, because
I think
because
it is fair to call Spyro 1 a baby game, but I also would say it's the gold standard of baby games, perhaps, because it's very charming, and it's it's fun to move around as Spyro. And
sure,
all that
and I
stuff.
think that's why these games were successful, even though they were maybe skewed a little bit younger in terms of, I don't know, what you do in the fucking games. The reason a lot of maybe Games Press at the time played them as well and they got a lot of buzz is because at the time it was this really nice looking game and the controls felt really like responsive and unique for a 3D platformer, which the PlayStation 1, it was not exactly
Yeah, it didn't
Nintendo
have a whole lot of
64
that at the
when it
time.
came to 3D platformers. I mean, Crash was
Hell, you were-
successful, but that was a very different type of game.
I can't believe I played this back in the day without an analog stick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Like,
yeah.
it feels so much better playing it now with a DualShock 4 and whatnot. But
Yeah, but it came out in '98. I think it supported analog then. I think so, at least. Yeah, it did. Because I played it with analog a few months ago, or Henry did. So it's funny that I pop in this game now, and I think the reason it's appealing is for the same reasons that it would appeal to someone back in 1998, which is it looked like a really pretty, colorful, polished game with, pretty, like, good controls for the time. And with this remake or this remaster, you're getting that same effect. It's this really nice looking, polished and colorful game, so it's kind of appealing for the same reasons, even though it's 20 years later.
I will say this: I was, as someone who played the first Spyro when I was much younger, like 2 or 3 times. I popped this in last night, and I was like, I didn't play that. I had a chance to play this at E3, and I didn't wait in the line to play it, so I didn't really watch my. And I haven't been paying a whole super close attention to it, but I was kind of blown away by the. Like, I know it's pretty standard, like, visual flair, but, like, this is not only is this a remake, like a 1-for-1 remake, like, it everything is where you remember it being.
Yeah.
It uses the same music, everything, but, like, holy shit, this game is gorgeous.
I agree, and it's a good-looking game.
Music as well.
By the way, the music is still great. I love the music
I actually
in this.
think the music in the 1998 original, at least that first game, is actually kind of terrible. But they remastered it here, and it does sound better.
I love the music.
But whatever, teach their own. So I have finally played a good, healthy fucking amount of Spyro.
You tweeted today like a screenshot of your like stats screen or something, and you had 100%ed like 10 levels.
That's because the tracking is really good. Anytime a game about collecting shit does a really good job of kind of tracking that. And showing you, your progress, and
it's always very clear about where, if you're missing something, what it is and where you'll find it.
Yeah, and it's not like you're collecting a lot of different things, so it doesn't have like that Donkey Kong 64 problem. I mean, it's pretty much just gems and these other little challenge tokens, like orbs or whatever. So it's not hard to kind of keep track of that stuff. And there's if you click in the left stick, your mosquito or whatever the fuck that is, dragonfly. I guess that makes sense. Will point in the direction of the nearest gym. So when you're at the end of a stage and you're like at 380 and you're trying to find that last 20, you can rely on your little dragonfly to kind of point you in the correct direction.
Is that true in the first game?
I think it is in this remaster. And I think maybe in the original you had to like earn that ability, or maybe it wasn't in the first one. But I don't think it was there from the very start, at least. But it is here in the original. Also, so they've added a couple of things that weren't in the original in this remaster.
So,
like what?
Last night,
you have this ability to kind of jump at the end of your float, which I believe they didn't introduce until the sequels, but they put that into the first Spyro.
I was gonna mention last night when I was playing, there was it said something about you got a what is it, like a skill point or something like that?
That's like a achievement or something.
Yeah, and I pulled up the list of skill points, and it looked like a list of like challenges that I had, like basically like a list of achievements or trophies.
From doing them, though.
So I feel like that's really misleading, because I was like, holy shit, did they add a skill tree to this game? Which of course.
Oh yeah, no.
It's bizarre.
It's just a weird naming thing that they use.
Bad translation.
But I do want to say some nice things about Spyro. I did say a few nice things after 1998 month, saying that it's a pretty satisfying game, albeit maybe one that's a little mindless. Riptos Rage is a little less mindless because there's kind of more going on with these challenges and mini games and stuff. Not all that are great, but some are pretty creative. Like when you're playing ice hockey and the ice level. Controls aren't amazing for that, but it's still a cool idea. It's better than just finding a statue in the level.
Yeah.
The other thing I would like to praise, which is a really strange kind of like lopsided thing with its level design, which I've seen games that are like that have sort of like a core objective as far as like getting through a level. And then a lot of the other stuff is optional, but I've never seen it this lopsided. Like, you can probably get through a lot of these levels in like 5, 8, 10 minutes just to get to the exit. Well, I mean, to get to medallion to progress the game.
Sure.
But there like probably 80% of the stuff to do in the levels is outside of that. It is completely optional, and it's actually pretty satisfying kind of finding where all the other parts of the level are that aren't immediately obvious. And it's just shocking to see how much of it is like that, because I don't think you'd see a game designed that way these days, because a developer doesn't want to see you miss out on all this optional content. And because the tracking for all the collectibles is really good, you want to find all those parts of the level. So I will say, in terms of the Spyro series, it does seem like they've stepped up the level design quite a bit, and have found that satisfying kind of finding all the parts of
Is
the
structure
levels.
of Riptos Rage still similar to the first one in terms of like the hub world, and then you go, it's like going into paintings in Mario 64 kind of.
Exactly, yeah. Except now you have this money bags. Well, I guess you had an equivalent in the first one where you're spending your gems to like unlock new abilities or kind of pathways or new levels.
Yeah.
But here you actually have some kind of Metroidvania-y elements. Like you'll have a guy who will like sell you, or Mr. Moneybags will sell you the ability to go underwater, so you can like maybe go back to previous levels where you didn't have that underwater ability or the ability to climb. You can't do the fire breath underwater, but there is, and I guess that's new to Riptos Rage as well, where if they have these like power-up gates or whatever that if you kill like enough enemies in the stage, they'll activate and they'll let you say, this stage will let you fly, for a brief amount of time, or this stage will give you super fire breath for a limited amount of time, and that usually plays into finding all the stuff in the stage, kind of 100%ing the stage.
Sure.
But it's not the most challenging game in the world, but because it with the exception of the flying stages,
I did one of those last night. I completely forgot. Were those in the original game?
Yes.
I completely forgot about them. Like you have a timer and you're flying around. You have to like hit all these things to add time to your seconds.
That's
to your
the
time.
one thing in the game that's actually challenging. But
outside
outside of that,
like it controls really well, and it was fun to do.
I think the way Spyro controls is why maybe this game had so much kind of like the broad appeal back then, because
probably.
It's just kind of fun to charge, and
he moves so fast.
I think Spyro had the first rodeo run way before Gears did. Right, you do that charge, and the camera kind of zooms in, and you have limited control, and you're going
barrel
really
through
fast.
shit.
I do wish, and I don't know if the third one has it, but he really needs like a power slide out of that. It'd be so satisfying.
Are you planning on playing? Are you gonna keep playing this? Or
I think so. Obviously, we're at this weird time of the year where I'm like, I don't know if I should be playing fucking Spyro.
You got to be really picky and choosy right now.
Spyro the goddamn Dragon, but it is something I do intend to keep
I'm
playing.
going to play at least the first one, which is probably not going to take very long.
This is a 2018 game.
The third one has like,
hey man, this is a pretty substantial remake.
Yeah,
enough that I think it would qualify.
I mean, I think our rules with indie year stuff is kind of dumb, anyways. But in that it kind of would make us say
Chris
not.
Davis is sitting right there.
I know. But the fact that a rule like that would make me potentially stop playing something I enjoy.
I think Chris Davis
stupid.
set the precedent when he gave PUBG his Game of the Year.
That's true. That was horseshit.
Anyways, we're just
December 20th.
we're just
Yeah, but they
pulling your
just did that for Game of the Year awards.
All right, let's do this. Let's move on.
All right, yeah. So Spyro, it's been fun. I apologize to all the babies out there. I mean, I do think
That
it's
I've offended
still
over the years.
like a baby game, but let's just say it's like the best baby game. You know what I mean?
The gold standard
The
of baby
gold
games.
standard of baby games.
I'm gonna play at least the first one. I'm curious about the third one though, because that's the one
There's a
I've
lot
never
of like
gone,
different playable characters and stuff.
I've
in that
never
one.
gone beyond the second one, and that one will be a completely fresh experience.
There's no
for me.
consensus. Like I've heard different favorites from this entire trilogy from the Spyro fans. Some people say the first, second, or third.
Interesting. Well, it's a pretty nice package. I think it's only like a $40 package too, which is pretty nice. But anyways, let's move on. We have a couple more games to talk about tonight. Like I said, we'll do Hitman 2 in the second segment. So we also have, what was the other big game? We have Resident Evil. We have Hitman 2.
Red Dead.
Red Dead. Thank you.
Jesus,
Thank you.
Nick
Red Dead.
always
Sorry.
forgets
I thought this
my
was a
game.
bit.
I know. It's
Nick always
it's
forgets my game.
It's
What's that big game that just came out?
that I've been playing 80 hours of so far. Fuck. Let's talk about Red Dead, but specifically, Nolan's been playing the online beta.
Yes.
Tell us how that's going. And you had a community night there night.
Yes, so when I streamed on Wednesday, that was the first night that the beta... they did an interesting kind of release scheme with the beta to slowly get people into it, which you were in based on when you played it.
So they base it basically on your dedication to
kind of, yeah. So if you got the Ultimate Edition, you got a day early. If you played the game the day its release, you were the next day.
Yeah.
If you played the game within the first week, the next day, and then as long as you've played the game the week after that. But anyway, so I did get to play a little bit with the community the other day.
Do you have any hiccups? I know you were worried about maybe not being able to get into the game fast enough to have for you.
So
bulk of
the
your stream.
intro, from the time you start until you can start having a posse, it's about maybe 30, 45 minutes. Depends
not
on how
too bad.
quickly you go.
GTA Online.
Yeah, you can take it slower. If you just make a beeline from mission to mission, you can do it pretty quick. There's not too much point in not doing that, which is kind of almost like, why didn't you just make me do? Why do you give me this open world that I now have access to, but I can't really do anything in until I do this mission?
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, so similar to GTA, you start with like an arrest. Like in GTA 5, you were taking your mugshot.
Yeah, and
You
that's
take
where
like
you
a
do the character
mugshot in
creator.
this. Yeah, and you do the character creator, and all the characters look like dog shit.
Are you playing as a lady?
I am a lady. Her name is PCP Longstockings.
Does she does she look like
Because she
dog
looks horrible. She looks like she's been doing a lot of PCP.
shit? Wonderful.
And yeah, so as soon as I started this, someone stole my horse. And I
Good-
tried to
good
get him,
start.
but I didn't.
Oh my god.
Good vermin.
Great footage.
Looks like you got him.
I got a hit on him, but I didn't kill him.
You got rustled.
Yeah. I think what happened was he committed a crime and then just grabbed the closest horse, which was mine, because I think some lawmen are about to go running past me after him. That's a lawman. But anyway, so and that kind of brought up another point that's frustrating with online multiplayer. In the single player, I don't know if you know this. If someone is like, "Hey, Mister, hail at me," and you go up and they're like, "I got you," and they rip you off your horse and they get on and start riding off. If you whistle for your horse will buck them off.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, the more you know. Yeah, it doesn't happen in the multiplayer.
Still discovering
your horse
shit
just
about
keeps
this game.
going.
No.
And so yeah,
Your horse is disloyal. Is
yeah,
what
it is, and it might be honestly because it's still maybe the bond isn't strong enough. Maybe
Maybe
if your
that only
bond is
happens when you
stronger.
have like a max bond or
Maybe,
something.
yeah.
Which
That
would
might
make
be
sense,
true.
I think.
But anyway, so I did play with 4 other people. What's up?
See, remember in GTA Online, they had like options as
And
far as like who could interact with your cars.
Yeah,
and
like
shit
only
that.
your crew or
like
whatever.
people
and-
couldn't open the doors on your car,
Yeah.
so like they couldn't steal shit. But that's
Yeah,
cool.
and if you start the car, it blows up or whatever. So you can do it with
Yeah.
the horse. If you start the horse, it blows up.
God, that would be funny.
Dude, that would be awesome.
you still
Rockstar,
chasing your
please do
horse?
that. Yeah, I was trying to get to him.
you were just like not letting.
And I
it go.
like so here's the other thing I didn't realize. Once again, I'm learning things constantly. Now, if you're in a posse with friends, if you try and get on your friend's horse, you'll just ride with them. But instead, I accidentally ripped this guy off. So I was like, "Oh, sorry," and I give him a little emote of "Sorry, buddy."
Are
I gave-
emotes easy to get to in this game?
Yeah, they're not.
I
that
always
bad.
struggle with emotes in online games. Like I feel like I'm like in Dark Souls. I'm always like, oh god, how do I do it again?
Yeah, it's not that bad.
They think I'm being disrespectful.
Yeah, but yeah. So it takes a little while. You can get to a posse. So you have like small posses and big posses. Big posses you do have to pay for with in-game currency.
Oh, I
I
bet
think
they
it's
would-
like
real
$200 to establish a larger posse.
Why do you have to pay money to establish
What-
a
how,
posse?
how big's larger versus regular?
7 people. I don't know why 7, not 8. A regular posse is 4,
I bet if you look at that key art for this game with the sunset with the, it's like I bet it's 7.
probably. And so, but that also depends on you have to have a large enough camp, and so you have to
Yeah.
level up, so you can. And so, yeah, similar to GTA or whatever, everything's locked behind levels.
Yeah.
I think in this footage, I hit level 8.
Yeah.
I've been leveling up fairly quickly, but there's a lot of good stuff that's locked behind like higher levels.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's definitely gonna. I can see.
Is this stuff that you have access to in the main game just but already? Like what
No.
what kind of stuff are you unlocking in this?
Everything. You start with nothing. You don't have any. You have barely any clothes. You don't have any. You have a repeater and a revolver, and that's it.
Gotcha.
You have to buy everything else. A longbow or a bow is like $125. I can't remember which gun we were looking at. It was like a shotgun or something. It was like $700 something.
Yeah.
Do they have guns in the online mode that aren't in the single player?
Not to my knowledge as of now. It's possible, but I'm not sure.
Because the one from Red Dead Redemption that I really miss is the Lamat revolver.
Ooh, the Lamat
Oh,
revolver.
yeah, that was
the
a good one.
9 chambers.
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
God, why did they take that out?
They'll probably bring it in
knows?
later.
Wait, who's
As you can
that?
see here, this is a guy who helps run your camp. You can pay $50 to change the color of your camp's flag.
God.
Yeah, dude, it is.
Don't they know in the West during this time everything costs like
There's
Pennies?
a crazy amount of shit. I can pay to upgrade his outfit.
Well, how does that work, actually?
what's
So
up?
let's talk about the camp for a second. You select a location in the world for that camp to be set up?
So initially, you only have one choice.
Yeah.
When you once the world opens up to you and you can do whatever you want, you can pay to move your camp.
Okay. But so like, is your camp, it's not instanced in any way? Like, it's not separated from the game world?
Nope.
So like, anybody who's in the same servers, you can go to your camp?
Yes, but they can't hurt you when you're in your camp unless you you can like bring down your flag, and if you bring down your flag, then it's like fair game.
That's weird.
Okay.
Why would
And
you ever
then-
bring it down?
I know. I don't.
So
know.
that means that like, you can just like be out in the world and stumble into other people's camps?
Yes.
How many people per server?
Quite a few. I want to say 16, but I honestly think it's more. I think it's
How does-
closer to like 20
How
something.
does that work?
But even
if
that seems
you-
like a pretty small number considering how big the
Yeah.
map is.
Because it's one of those things where they've just got like a bunch of servers running, and when you log in, they just put you in one, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, like, if you have set your camp up in this designated camp spot here, they can't put you in a server where somebody already has a camp there, right?
Well,
it
how
can-
does it work
It can
in,
move around.
Fallout?
Like the camp, like can physically move around. It doesn't have to be in this
Oh,
one
okay.
spot. It's like
So
in a
then
general
could your
area.
camp actually end up being like really close to somebody else's?
I've never had it like extremely close, but I've definitely had it, somewhat close. I mean, the thing is, this map
That's
is huge.
interesting. Yeah, that's true, and that's interesting. That was just like
Yeah, I
one
gotcha,
thing I was
gotcha.
trying to wrap my head around about like.
And
the
once
idea of
again,
having
let me
camps.
preface this as well. I've only played like 5 hours of the
Yeah.
online multiplayer, not that much.
I mean, you streamed
there
this
is-
last night, right?
Yeah, last night was the
Yeah.
only, and then the hour I played for maybe like half an hour before the
capture
podcast
the
tonight
footage.
just to capture footage.
Did
What's
you
up?
have a chance to play? Wow, what's it called, Make Do or? What's,
So I didn't get a chance to play any of the kind of like battle modes.
Yeah.
They were available. You can do like races. You can do like kind of like the King of the Hill type
There
stuff.
is a battle royale, quote unquote.
Well,
mode,
yeah, it's
which sounds
bows
cool.
and knives.
Yeah.
only.
Yes. So I didn't get a chance to play it just because, like I said, I was just still trying to get my foot in the door of understanding the online.
I'm actually genuinely curious to try that.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know when
Yeah,
the
yeah,
world.
that's what I was talking about. It's called Make Do or Make.
Yeah.
After
Well, let's not call it battle royale.
well,
if
whatever,
like
whatever it's
16
called.
people.
After as I was
Called
ending
deathmatch.
my cast the other day, I was like, I do want to play more of this, and
Yeah.
I want to do like more community nights, and so we'll get to it.
Did it
It's
seem
just-
stable at all? Or
last night it crashed on me 4 times.
Ooh.
Tonight
I guess
it
it is a
crashed on me
beta.
once. Yeah.
So-
Did you ever have to redo the intro?
No, I never had to redo the intro.
Thank
Thankfully,
God.
Rockstar fixed that. I didn't have to listen to Lamar tell me all about the fucking city every goddamn time he picked me up from the airport.
the
just had to-
airport?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
that's
GTA
how
5,
GTA 5
their online was so
Oh,
fucked at the
gotcha.
beginning, you had to restart it like 10 times.
I thought we had a
And
disconnect
then you gotta
here.
go do that fucking race.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
So anyway, no, I only had to do the intro once. It was there is like a story to what's going on, so I got to go through all of
Is
that.
the story interesting?
It's all right. You essentially were wrongfully accused of a crime.
Nice.
The person who got you out of jail, or sorry, you didn't get you out of jail. They kind of jailbreak, whatever. Anyway, is like, hey, I know you didn't do it. I want you to hunt down the person who did do it
Oh,
because they
that's-
killed somebody I care about. You got blamed for it, but I know it wasn't you, so that's what you're doing.
That's an interesting.
there
enough
is actually a
concept.
story.
As
What's
far as story content goes, is it like, does it come pretty steadily, or is it like
So-
you'll get a little story bit and then
It's similar to it's similar to the story mode in which there's a yellow icon on the map,
yeah.
and whenever you want, you can go
that's a
and
story
do it.
mission? Yeah.
Otherwise, there are stranger missions, kind of, and it's just like, or like kind of helpful things. It's a little orange icon with like a person with their hand up,
Yeah.
and you go up to them and interact with them. And sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, I want you to do this for me," and you will get good honor, or "Hey, I want you to do this for me," and you'll get bad honor. Like, "Hey, someone stole my ship. Can you go get it? Like boat? Can you go get
Right,
it back for me?"
and-
"Hey, I don't like this guy. Can you go kill him for me?"
And missions work a little differently depending on your honor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff can change based on your honor and
me-
everything.
Can I ask you, like, I know you haven't played much of this.
Mhm.
Can I ask you, like, maybe a random but relevant
Brad, just
question?
ask a question.
Um,
If I know the answer, I'll tell you.
if this game didn't have the single player campaign and was just this, would it be Fallout 76?
No,
Or would it be better?
it would definitely be better. 100%.
I mean, Fallout 76, I think, is singularly pretty terrible.
Damn it, I'm not going to be on the news part. Are we going to talk about that?
The news?
all the
no, I
Fallout
didn't have it in the
76
news.
stuff?
If you want to mention it
Well,
right
briefly, can we just mention the fact that I just heard recently that bullshit thing about like the big collector's edition that
With
comes
the-
with
with
the
the
duffel
bag?
bag,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
like they end up giving people like a shitty bag
now, made
or
of
whatever.
nylon.
Yeah,
Nylon
nylon,
bag.
and they're like, "Oh, sorry, here's
As
like
opposed to the original canvas.
yeah,
like,
here's like $500 or whatever of in-game credit, but you can buy like next to nothing
it's
with that.
$5
$5
worth
worth
of
of
the-
stuff.
That's some horseshit.
Yeah.
They are
Anyway.
fumbling that.
Oh,
thing
and
God,
they
it's
originally
horrible.
weren't even gonna do that.
Yeah,
Like-
it's horrible right now. I am beyond glad that I canceled my pre-order
Dude,
of that game.
yeah, I feel like we all dodged a bullet there.
But anyway,
Woo!
so here's I went up to the story mission. I did not have a posse at this time just because when I booted it up, none of my friends were online playing. I sent
So
a
you
couple
can
of
technically
invites.
do missions without other players?
No, you have to. It does matchmaking, so
Okay.
it'll pull in random people. There is voice chat that works through the PlayStation DualShock 4, and it's not horrible.
Hey.
Wait, when you were talking a while ago, were you actually talking to people?
Yeah.
Could they hear me?
No. So I actually ended up muting mine. But it's funny because early on I noticed that I ended up
talk
muting that
through
just
the
because.
DualShock?
Yeah.
There's a microphone in that thing?
Yeah. But it was because I was playing with people on Discord the other day. I muted the in-game chat just so it didn't get annoying.
Gotcha.
And but when you don't have that muted, like your character's mouth moves when you're talking.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's kind of cool.
I mean, it's cool, but it's weird.
But yeah, so anyway, like so now I actually am in a posse. Because when you do a mission, you get put into a posse with these people. So we're going off to do our mission, whatever. But similar to this, you don't have to do these story missions. You can do like the random stranger missions. We did when I was playing with the community the other day. We did a little bit of hunting. Here you're going to see me jump on a guy's horse.
How does hunting go?
Just as an example of
when
the
you're
fact that when you're in a posse, you can just and now you're riding on this guy's horse with him.
That's cool.
And yeah, no, it is definitely cool. So hunting is kind of difficult because you don't have like the deadeye like you do in the main game. I will say it does seem like pelts are worth more though.
But I feel like you're moving with like a big posse, aren't you? Like scaring all the animals away.
I mean, if you run down like a deer and lasso it, it's still pretty easy to get it.
Forgot about your lasso technique.
I did get attacked by a cougar while we were playing multiplayer.
I got attacked by a cougar for the first time in the main game.
Really?
Yesterday.
They're pretty aggressive, but unfortunately, unlike
they
the first
are.
game, there's no Cougar Town or Bear Country. They just don't exist.
Oh,
That's
that's gonna make hunting those things down fairly interesting.
yeah.
Later.
Are the mini games in online yet?
No,
I don't think they are.
they are not.
But
Are
they're
they going to be?
I hope so.
They're going to be, right?
I hope so.
They got-
I really
if you
like
can't sit
poker
down and
and
play a game of
dominoes,
poker
yeah.
with a bunch of friends,
I
I feel like it's a
agree.
missed
That would be
opportunity.
silly.
And
like-
then shoot one of them.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Cougars are aggressive because women peak sexually later in life.
Yes. So,
damn.
and you can't see it now because I'm in a cutscene. But hold I'll skip to. I'll come back to that then, so you can actually see what I'm talking about. But yeah, no. So there's not mini games yet. There are those kind of like, the races and all that stuff, and I didn't get a chance to do any of those yet. I do want to have like another dedicated multiplayer night when I can.
Let me know when you do
spend
that because I
the
do
whole
want to try
time.
it.
Oh yeah,
I would
definitely.
love
Like
to jump in.
I'm ready to. The only thing that sucks is just that you can't have like a posse of 16 people.
Yeah. So, question: if you're like level 8, you say you got to level 8. If I'm not a level 8,
No, I last night when I was playing, there were some of them. I was level 2, someone was level 13, someone was
Okay.
level 6. No, yeah, you can just all hang out,
Cool.
and do your own thing. It's just they might have a little more money, maybe slightly higher stats. I will say, when you start, you kind of have the option to choose where you have 2 points available, so you can pump up your health or pump up your stamina or
Yeah.
pump up your deadeye. Don't do stamina. You earn stamina so fast.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just don't put those into health or deadeye or something.
I mean, you're not driving a car. You're pretty much getting exercise everywhere you run in
Yes.
this game.
So I guess it's not going to show it right now. Maybe at some point I'll bring up the little icon. But in the top right, normally you'll see, there you go, see how much money, and you see there's another icon just to the left of it.
Yeah.
And those are gold bars and gold nuggets.
Uh-oh. Is this the currency issue that people have been
Yes.
throwing a fit
So
about?
there is an in-game currency that you can buy with real money that you can use to get things quicker. They are gold bars and gold nuggets. 100 nuggets is a gold bar, so it's essentially like cents and dollars, whatever.
Yeah.
I ended my initial stream of this with 24 nuggets, so almost a fourth of a way to a gold bar.
Okay.
Seems like a lot of money.
No.
That's the problem. That's what everyone's
Yeah.
upset about. Is like it's gonna take fucking forever.
For ending certain like some of the missions we did, I got like 0.04 nuggets.
Oh god.
And
And
so
like,
like 4
what
cents
do you need the nuggets
essentially.
for? Specific? Isn't there like some like to get like base level things like you need like shit tons of bars or something?
I don't know what all of them are spent on. I just know that
Like a horse is like 10 bars or something.
I don't know.
Like-
Maybe I haven't done any purchasing of horses yet. Like I said, the main stuff like weapons and whatever does seem to be more expensive than it is in the single player.
Yeah.
Has anybody here followed GTA Online for a longer period? Because I'm
So
just
I
curious.
was playing it.
It's like a beast.
no,
because
so
that
hold
had free roam, didn't it?
yeah, no, yeah.
Does it still? Is it still the free roam thing where it's just kind of like the game, like the because I know when I hear about GTA 5 online, all I hear about is like all these crazy
Oh
fucking.
no, they expanded
Weird
a lot.
races on loop-de-loops and stuff.
I was playing
Which is
GTA
cool,
up
but-
until I think 2 years ago. Maybe was the last time I did it, and that's mainly just because there's been so many other
Watching
games.
y'all
I played
Rob,
a bit of it like a month or two ago.
But yeah,
Is it still
in
like-
GTA because they added the whole business aspect of
Yeah.
it, and that added a whole new class of types of missions and ways to earn money and do these things, and that's why because I established Dick Butt Incorporated,
yeah.
and I had the big sign in my office and whatever. But yeah, I am fairly certain that they'll probably do that in this eventually. Maybe leaning towards.
the one thing we
gangs,
can
like
pretty
you
much
establish your
guarantee-
own gang.
Yeah.
The one thing we pretty much guarantee at this point is because, especially based on the success of GTA 5 online, the fact that it's still going strong, like they're going to continue to support this for because this is all this game itself has been
no,
ridiculously
that's
successful.
definitely going to happen. There definitely are going to be.
Is that what I think it is?
Someone pooted.
It's
I'm
probably
pretty-
Butters.
I think it's Butters. I think Butters is.
They're probably going to be like maybe special vehicles you can buy because at one point I tried to interact with my catalog and it says like, oh, you can't use a catalog while on a horse or vehicle.
What?
I mean,
like a
we know
stagecoach.
there's like like
Or
cars.
trains.
We know there are
Boat.
cars.
Oh, I guess you're right.
No, well, there were cars
In Red Dead Redemption
Red Dead
1.
which was 1911. This is 1899. I mean, I guess. I mean, there's yeah.
I think
there's
at some point we'll probably get like a rudimentary car
maybe,
or something.
but it like costs $1,000
Probably.
or something.
Yeah, it'll probably be
but
ridiculous.
maybe like yeah. I don't know.
I distinctly remember getting in
Stagecoaches and
that
stuff.
car in that one cutscene in Red Dead Redemption 1 and being like, man, give me back my horse.
Yeah. But yes, I don't know what else there is to
There was
say.
a car?
And
Yes, towards the end of
Yeah.
Red Dead, when you were
Fucking
like
what's
the Pinkertons
you
or
drive
whatever,
No, the U.S. Marshal
the
guy.
marshals, yeah.
Yeah.
The dude who carries the automatic gun and everything, like he was all about
That whole
modern
story,
tech.
yeah.
Yeah.
You drive it?
Yes, you drive it.
Well, I don't remember.
Yeah, well, it's because it's not very. You don't do it a lot.
It's
But
like
yeah,
one mission.
so I don't know. I'm definitely going to continue playing this. I will say that a decent chunk. I would say. So let me tell you. First off, this does multiplayer starts off in Blackwater.
Yeah.
So
I can already tell you're spending a lot of this.
90% of what I played in the multiplayer,
Things went bad in
I
Blackwater.
was in New Austin.
You
Yeah.
know, I heard online though that like a lot of people started in different places.
So yeah, you can start in different places.
Yeah.
Mine started in Blackwater. I didn't. So I don't know if I started there, but I definitely that was the first place I had to go. I think everyone has to go to Blackwater to kind of start.
I think it's
your
really.
mission.
I think it's crazy, and this isn't really considered like much of a spoiler, quote unquote. But like, I think it's crazy. It's wild that they've included New Austin in the map for this game. Considering like, I've gone 80 hours into this game, and I still haven't stepped foot
Yeah.
in New Austin.
Can't go
Outside of
back-
that, there's one mission where you go into Blackwater for like 2 seconds, and you go out. Like I have.
What? Spoiler. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, you've been there.
I haven't, but I'm joking.
If you're no,
you said
from
you're
what chapter you're
In
in?
Blackwater?
Not
Yeah.
in the town.
In, like,
that
chapter
area.
two.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
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 we got
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
John.
one thing
Yeah.
where you're kind of you
Or not
you
John.
step foot in Blackwater.
Whatever.
Outside
Sean.
of that,
Sean, yeah.
Yeah.
outside of that, I haven't been to New Austin at all, and I've
But-
played this game for 80 hours. It's
So like I was
ridiculous.
saying, I do plan on playing more of this. I want to spend a lot more time in it. The thing that sucks is I'm not even done with the game. I'm still on chapter 4. I still have so much of this
I will
game to
tell
play.
you, yeah, and you're right. I'm in chapter 6, and I still have a shit ton to play.
And
but
so
like,
me spending a bunch of time in the online is probably not beneficial, especially this time of year.
yeah,
Well, you do you,
but
man.
but this is a way to keep the experience kind of going well beyond that point.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
You're right at the part too though where it starts kind of like
Yeah, there was
It
like
starts really
the
picking
day
up.
before I left for my trip, I was like, I'm gonna sit down and play some Red Dead just because I know I'm not gonna get to play it for a week or so.
Yeah.
And like, I tried to get to a stopping point, and it was this chapter, and I just started barely. I entered chapter 5, and by the time I ended that night, I was like, I'm done
I
with
will
chapter
say
5.
without spoiling anything, the last story mission I did, we ended up some stuff went awry, and we ended up on a trolley.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Is that mid chapter 4 towards the end?
I'm trying to remember.
That's fine if you don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
You're getting pretty close to the end of chapter 4, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
I have been kind of doing less adventuring and exploring and more story based.
Yeah.
But if I see a stranger mission, I will always
keep
do
up
it.
with
Like,
stranger
yeah,
missions.
I've been doing
There
every
was some
single
crazy
one.
ones.
Dude, there is some great stranger missions. There is some crazy
There's
shit out in
also
that
just
world.
like, and that's the thing that baffles my mind, and I guess that's why this game was in development. There's just so much. There are so many unique encounters and experiences, and just like all this random crap in this game that it still boggles my mind how much is in this.
Yeah,
world.
and I am committed to doing. I know we've said we're going to do it because I expected to be done with this game at this point, but it is still going
Oh
strong.
yeah, me too. It's been a month. This
but-
game's been out for a month now.
Yeah, but
And only one of us in this room has finished it.
We will do a spoiler cast, but at this point, I think it's probably a safer bet to just wait until we finish the game and do it at that point. But I am gonna.
Finished it, Chris Davis.
Chris Davis finished it,
At this rate, the spoiler cast is going to be Game of the Year talk.
but you can't. We don't want to spoil shit during the Game of the Year discussions.
We
Anyways,
always do.
not really. No,
Not always.
Not like there's a lot of stuff you don't want to spoil for people in this game. We'll get into detail about that later. We'll start hashing out the details as we get closer to finishing the game
But
ourselves.
still, everybody's like pretty high on it.
Oh, absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
dude. This is like
But
I
I tweeted
like
the other
you
day,
use it
and
for story stuff.
I mean,
Everything.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm into it for everything.
Dude, I
Like-
love
like-
fucking giving my guy new chaps and new boots and getting those fancy gold spurs. And
Dude.
then you go into town. I played some dominoes for
There-
like 20 minutes the other day.
there's also
and-
some stuff in chapter towards the end of chapter 5 where it's just like some stuff happens and then you start to see how the story, like the main story, starts to like affect the world around you, and like there's so many tiny details where I was like, holy shit. Like they thought of everything,
Dude,
It's insane.
There's
Can I
one
briefly-
moment, Brad, in like the story when you're at camp and like a horse just slowly trots into camp, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
But
it's good.
I'm in this like really early game like impatient phase, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the game, which a lot of people have responded to this game in that way, or
It's a slow start.
my current like
I would-
fucking
Brett,
setup of a child plus Game of the Year coming up, which is somewhat unique, right?
Brett, I would say the game definitely has a slower start, but once you get going, there's just so much content that you
Define
can't take.
get going though. I'm in the middle of chapter
well here's the
2.
thing: the story of this game,
And it seems like a lot of my stranger missions and story missions are still like introducing things, you know?
Nolan,
no, that's the dog.
that stunk. No, he just burped in my face.
Oh god, no, that
Sorry.
was not the dog. Never mind.
I'm sorry, I had fuego for dinner.
I'm so
I would
Damn you,
say
Nolan.
if we're talking about narratively,
Bernadette came back from Dallas.
Stop the presses. Where did you get Fuego?
Waco. Bernadette drove back. She was in Dallas for work, and on
Oh,
her way back,
man.
she stopped at
how
Fuego.
dare you tell us that you had fuego? Brad, to answer your question, I think if like kind of like mission wise and like narratively, things really start kicking up towards the end of chapter 3.
3.
But like
I would say 3.
Can y'all I knew nothing about this game. I didn't follow like any sort of pre-release, and I'm so early in the game. Like
Takes place in the Wild West. You're a
what
cowboy.
is like can y'all give me like a summary of like what's gonna happen in the story? Sorry. Like
Without spoiling.
right now nothing's happening. It's just a bunch of like hanging out.
Let me just tell you this.
Where's the story
theme
going?
Of, like the whole theme of like Dutch keeps saying, "Hey, we're gonna
I get that.
we're gonna
plan.
move on."
I already get that.
It's yeah. That is
That
the
is the
main through line of the
it's
game.
the development
and it's
of
about
Dutch
how
as a character.
yeah, and it's about how all the wheels just start falling off.
I think
left
it's the
and right.
I think it's the development as the gang, as a
Dut-
group of
well, yeah,
people.
for sure. But like you definitely like you watch Dutch and like his so like Arthur's main, you know, kind of like emotional character hook. His main through line is his relationship with Dutch and his relationship with Hosea.
Mhm.
and you start to see like how his relationship with Dutch starts to become more strained as Dutch becomes. Do you remember how Dutch like showed up in Red Dead Redemption?
Yeah.
Like his like actual character introduction.
Brad doesn't.
Because when he shows up in Red Dead Redemption, he's completely different
Yeah.
than the Dutch that you're here
He's
now. And
kinda
this is
fucked
all
up.
like every incremental step, like Death by a Thousand Cuts kind of, you know, like process of him becoming that like fucking villain, you know.
If this was like a movie,
Mm-hmm.
what movie would it be?
It would be play the fucking game, Brad. It's good.
No, I'm still at at the point where I don't know if I'm gonna play this
I mean, here's
game.
the thing, Brad. If you're struggling this hard,
Y'all love it, but
I know, and that's fine. But like, what I'm saying is, if you are struggling to find that hook, like for me and for a lot of people, like that hook was in like almost immediately. If you're struggling really hard to find the motivation to play it, then maybe just put it off until next year and play it later.
Time to play it. The time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
The time.
Play the things you're genuinely interested in right now, and just play it later. I mean, it doesn't have to be in your top 10. Just if you'd rather play other games, play other games. It'll be there.
But in my life right now, if I don't play this now, it's never gonna happen.
Well, we all have those games, I think.
I mean, I would hate to see that happen.
Yeah, but this is like such a highly rated thing, right?
But here's the thing, like what they're saying about into chapter 3 is where it starts to pick up narratively is true, but like you're already in the through line. You're already in the story.
No, nothing's happening in the story.
I know, but like
I might be early in chapter 2.
But it is. I mean, but like.
Yeah, I mean,
that is
still,
the game. Like it is, like
but
not crazy shit is not happening
but I think
every
what's
2
going
seconds.
on is that like where he's at right now, they're still more concerned with character introduction and premise than they are with actual through line. It's once,
let me show you.
So
how to
like
hunt.
in chapter 3,
It's honestly, once the story takes you to Saint Denis, that's when it starts picking up.
Okay.
well, chapter 3 involves the gang basically trying to work a specific grift.
Yeah.
And it's all about them like trying to build that up and then like how that kind of turns out. And then from that point, that's when you're getting into like your act 2 kind of like where everything becomes much more reactive. They're kind of just like putting out one fire and then like 2 more springing up kind of thing.
And that's where I guess it gets really
where
exciting.
like plot kind of more takes over than character interaction, you know?
But the point where you're in right now is basically just kind of like setting the stage.
It like I said, Brad, the story is a slow start because they want you to an extent care about all these gang members, and so you know do these story missions and go hunting with Lenny, and you go fishing with Dutch and Hosea, and you slowly kind of get into that.
And by the time shit starts to hit the fan and you start to see like things happen to characters that you've slowly built relationships with, like there's been so many moments in the story so far towards chapter 3 and beyond where my jaw's just been like,
But they're gonna start introducing like active protagonists
yeah.
that are driving things forward.
Oh yeah, but those protagonists don't come until like the end of chapter
Wait, you're talking
3
about antagonists?
almost. Or antagonists.
What did I
rather.
say?
You
said
said protagonist.
antagonist.
I was like,
yes.
Chris,
Yeah,
Arthur
active-
is the protagonist.
Active antagonist.
I will say that I recently completely changed his facial hair and everything, and it looks like it's a completely new character.
Dude, I grew my beard out to like level 9,
Yeah.
and then decided I want to shave it, and I was like, I shaved it, and I was like, I regret this.
Dude, I had like long hair,
Hair tonic,
and I
hair
had
tonic, hair
chops and a mustache, and I shaved off everything but the mustache and shaved my head real short. And I was like, who the fuck is this character? Like
nuts.
every cutscene afterwards, I was like, what? Just it's pretty crazy how different he looks just with a little bit of facial hair.
Yeah, you can go pretty crazy. All right,
Sexy man.
we need to move on. I have one game I don't want to talk about for long, and then we'll take a break. And I'm not going to talk about this for long. One, because it's a game we've all played. We all talked about it many times before on the show.
I don't think so.
I'm finally
How far are you?
in Resident Evil 4 on my Resident Evil series run. I am in chapter 4. I am in the castle.
Oh, wow, okay.
You'll see in a second when the footage rolls exactly where I am.
Ashley.
I am not currently
One of the
escorting-
greatest games of all time.
Sure.
This ain't a cutscene, bitch. Press A.
All right. I guess everyone is very, very, very familiar with Resident Evil 4. There's not a whole lot I can say about it that hasn't been said before.
So rank the games based on what you played so far.
No,
Go.
I'm not going to do that. First of all, I'm not going to do that until I've finished the whole series run.
Dude, come on.
I will say this.
I mean, this is definitely better than Code Veronica, right?
I will say this.
Oh my.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Hear me out.
Sorry.
going into the series run that I'm doing, I remember I have very fond memories of playing Code Veronica, and I did not expect this, but my opinion of Code Veronica is without a question going to be the opinion that shifts the most by the end of this series run, because my god, that game is kind of a mess.
Does it make you feel a little bit different about this in terms of like where this is at tone with tone versus?
Yeah, I mean, tonally speaking, it's a pretty big shit. I mean, some of the things that are still that are signature of like early Resident Evil in terms of like atmospherically, this game is stellar. But like the writing is still like
The writing is not
like
the best.
the one thing about this whole series that drives me crazy that I think would fix a lot of the narrative problems of this game is that like every villain antagonist in this whole series, like every time you get them in a room, their instinct is to just start fucking telling their evil plan.
Yeah,
and that's the only
got a
dialogue they ever
monologue.
have. It's so bad. But the thing is, Resident Evil 4. Fantastic game. I've played it many times. This is my first time playing it in like 4 or 5 years, though. I'm realizing when I look back fondly on Resident Evil 4, all of my fond memories come from Chapter 1 and 2, when you're in the village. The village. I am not nearly as enthralled by like I think it's cool that you go to a castle and it's so dramatically different than everything else, or than the village and everything. But like, I don't find the environment to be nearly as exciting or atmospheric as the village for whatever reason.
It's more set PC and less.
Yeah, but you spend a
about-
lot of time in this fucking castle.
You do.
And I think
do.
you spend more
you
time
solve
in the
a lot of puzzles.
You spend more time in the castle than you do in the village.
Oh, 100%.
But don't get me wrong. I still love every minute of this game. Like, you know, from a gameplay perspective, it's such a wonderful change of pace.
It's like really fun to play.
No, it is really fun.
Maybe for the first time is the combat and stuff like a joy.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's less about the meta of managing ammo and more about just having a good time.
You're right, and for that I do love it. But for me, I'll always be very, very fond of. By the way, this whole scenario in this is just a disaster, but I decided to roll with it.
But it's
you
so
know,
fucking tense, dude. Like what are those fuckers called?
the blind guys that run at you.
When those guys are like in the room with you, like when you first encounter them in that little tight space.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's like so fucking amazing.
And it is great, and I do love the way, you know, how quickly you can like shoot like, you know, dudes' legs out and have them fall and then cap them in the head and that kind of stuff. And that stuff still feels wonderful. I love this game from the gameplay perspective. I will personally always be fond of like just the classic Resident Evil gameplay loop. So this is not my ideal Resident Evil experience, but I still think it's wonderful, and it would definitely be in my top 5 if that's what you're wondering. Resident Evil games, maybe not my number 1 or even my number 2, but like this game is definitely
this is
special.
number 4.
You're right. It is number 4. But yeah, this game is a joy to play, and a lot of that stems from the you know, the inventory system is still super great. I'm still really enjoying that.
Spend
But
so much time organizing your inventory.
Yeah, and that's fun. It's kind of like playing Tetris. One thing I will say, and you know, as I've been playing through all the Resident Evil games, I've been kind of thinking about, you know, they're obviously in the habit, like Capcom's doing a lot of remakes and stuff, and you know, we're about to see Resident Evil 2 remake, which is the whole reason I'm doing this whole thing. And I was just thinking to myself, like, what other games in the series would really benefit from a remake? And I was like, 4 doesn't need it, because, you know, 4 is amazing. But now that I'm playing it again, I'm like, you know, this could actually
I would
probably
love a remake
What are you
of 4.
playing
this.
on?
I mean, I'm playing on PS4. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying it doesn't run well. I'm just saying, like,
I thought they modernized
visually
some of the
speak-
controls.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it feels really nice on a DualShock.
Well, like they've given it like Resident Evil 5 controls, right? You're no longer.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't played Resident Evil 5. I've played Resident Evil 4 since the last time I played 5.
But
so
I mean, you're aiming with your left trigger, shooting with your right trigger,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
But you're not moving.
Real Resident Evil 4 is aim with your right trigger, shoot with the A button. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah. So they've definitely improved controls, obviously, at this point. But I was just saying, like, this is.
Who
I don't.
uses this?
I don't mean to sound. By the way, this thing is.
The mine launcher.
The
Is that what
mine,
that
the
is?
mine thrower is great, and it actually kills these dudes like really fast if you hit them right on their little whatever
Fine
the
fast. You've been
parasite.
fighting these guys for.
I know this whole scenario kind of went to shit, but if you shoot them right on their parasite with the mine thrower, it kills them pretty fast. It's fun. You should experiment with it a little bit. But like I was playing it, I was like, and this is gonna sound a little vain maybe, but I was like, this game visually could use some upgrades.
Dude.
I mean, it looks great. Don't get me wrong. It looks fine.
Well, mind
But, like,
blowing in
shallow, I think,
2005.
Yeah,
Fine.
absolutely. But like, I'm just saying, I'm just thinking about what it could look like now because this game has some of the most amazing like set piece moments in the entire series. Like, and I'm just like that barn fight with the chieftain
Yep.
is incredible. But like, I was thinking about like, man, imagine what this would be like.
I gotta say
in
though,
4K.
like it has been a long time since it was probably Resident Evil 5, right, where a Resident Evil game came out and was like, "This is like the best game
Best looking game, yeah.
out right now."
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
Resident
and
Evil
4
5
definitely
still
had that, and 5 had that, and that kind of stopped.
And you know what? One thing I will say about 5, which is coming up, Nolan, you gonna be ready to play 5 in the not too distant future?
I wanted to talk to you about that.
That doesn't sound good.
No, what essentially I wanted to say is probably what's going to happen is Nick and I are going to co-op that.
Yeah,
But like normally Nick casts on Mondays and I cast on Tuesdays.
well, we can figure it out.
Well, what if we did it both nights?
Yeah,
Yeah,
We get
that'd
through
be
it twice as fast.
yeah.
I'm all for that.
Good
plan.
luck with the final like pull.
I've never played
fucking
5, so I mean,
Shiva.
Yeah, I
off-
think that'd be great. And you know what?
What's her
5,
fucking name?
5. One thing Sheva. One thing I will say about Resident Evil 5, we'll talk about it obviously when we've done the playthrough as well.
Yeah.
But like that game still looks fucking.
Oh god, yeah.
Not to mention just like the change in scenery from like everything that came before it to like bright sun in Africa. It was like it's so cool. It looks so fucking cool. I can't wait to play that again. Anyways, that's all I'll say. Resident Evil 4 is dope. I think I have maybe 2 more streams before I finish this. And then, it's pretty great. Pretty fucking great.
yeah. Have you done the bottle cap shooting gallery or whatever?
Yeah, I did it once the other night, but I was like, I can't sit here and do this because I have 3 more games I want to get through before Resident Evil 2 remake comes out in January.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do this. But it is still fun.
Oh,
sure.
Resident Evil 4 is better than Dead Space.
You go to hell.
I'll agree
You know
with
what?
that.
You know what? Let's move on. Anyways, we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll do some Hitman. We'll do some news. There's a lot of stuff to talk about there. If you're watching us live on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Yeah. Sorry, that was a very abrupt. I don't know how I was going to do that transition.
That's fine.
We'll be right back. That was a hell of a tangent that we went on, but welcome back to the show, everybody. There's so much left to talk about. Before we get to news, of which there is a lot to talk about, we need to talk about one more game. Brad and Chris Davis. By the way, Nolan has stepped out because he is going on a trip. I hope everybody wishes him a happy trip. He'll be back in 2
Happy
weeks.
trip, Nolan.
Yeah.
But Chris Davis is joining us. Hello, Chris
Hello.
Davis. You and Brad have both been playing a bunch of Hitman 2.
Oh yeah, baby.
So, I don't know which one of y'all is leading
Define
this
a bunch.
Okay. Been playing Hitman 2.
More than a little.
I don't think it's possible to play a bunch of. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Well,
There's a value question.
I put about 30 hours into this game.
Okay.
Doing. What?
I haven't even played the final level yet.
Oh really? So
I've
I
been
guess
having
we
a
played
lot
the
of
same
fun.
levels. So you're the kind of person who replays the levels to do all the different. What do they call them? Story objectives or whatever.
Story objectives, just try to find everything, man.
Do you play with all the stuff on and use like the vision and all that?
Sometimes it depends on what I want to try to do.
Just to be clear, I've been playing with all of that off. I do think that Hitman is at its best when you kind of observe a level and spend a lot of time kind of studying the level before you act. And I feel like a lot of the newer systems and notifiers and stuff kind of walk you through it a little bit too much. This is not even a Hitman 2 level.
Well, no, it's not, because I had a story that I was going to talk about, an experience I had on Saturday night when I was
Hey,
broadcasting.
if it makes you feel any better, Brad, I didn't know this wasn't a Hitman 2 level until you said anything.
Well, this is
That's your bad.
this is a Hitman 1 level in Hitman 2.
Okay.
So they take what they've done is if you owned Hitman 1
Yes.
on the previous system or
All the levels from Hitman 1 are
all the
available.
levels are imported. Plus, you get the new AI interactions and the improved UI built into the levels.
So technically, it is a Hitman 2 level.
Stop it.
well,
It's weird. It's weird. Well, okay.
the story I want to tell here about this footage. So Saturday night, I wanted to play, but I had already done 4 of the 5 new levels in Hitman 2.
Yes.
I didn't want to do the final level
There's only
yet.
5?
Well, technically there's 6, but yeah, it's 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, because
It's
one's a
5 real
training.
levels. One's like the tutorial, and there's not even like disguises really. I mean, it's just.
I mean, you
kill-
can like hide out as a guard, but that's about it.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
mean,
very
it's
a
in a
tutorial
house,
level.
and everyone in the level is trying to kill you. It's not a real Hitman level. It's
Yeah.
but whatever.
Okay.
It teaches you
Continue.
just basic ideas. Well, so last year,
There's cuts in this. Oh no, there's a cut.
I edited this.
Oh.
Last year, about this time in November, IO Interactive released a bonus mini campaign called Patient Zero. It's a series of 4 levels that were already in Hitman 1, but kind of remixed and everything. And they're about a doomsday cult trying to release a virus to like 12 monkeys the world, basically.
That sounds like Resident Evil.
Well, first level
Pretty
takes
fucking goofy, right?
Yeah.
first level is in Mumbai. It's the hotel, or sorry, Bangkok. It's the hotel. You find the cult leaders, you kill them. That actually activates like the sleeper cells around the world to try to release the virus, and you spend the rest of the campaign trying to stop them.
Okay.
Then you go to another level, and the third level is Colorado. I forget what the second one is, and then the final level is in Hokkaido, the hardest level in the game, arguably.
Okay.
Because one of the rules of this level is that doors are locked behind the type of clothing you wear.
Oh, okay. So if
So-
you're not wearing the right clothing, you won't be able to get through certain doors.
Exactly. So
Are you just blatantly murdering?
so
people?
let me explain here, okay? So the first, you have to kill 2 main targets: the patient zero, the one who created the virus, who's trying to infect the world, and the doctor who's trying to treat him, but actually just wants to use the virus for themselves.
Okay.
Well, a few minutes into the level, when you're playing, the virus breaks out
Okay.
and it starts infecting people.
This is like Resident Evil.
And it starts infecting people like when they walk within two or 3 steps of another character, it infects them, and it leaps and it leaps.
So
and it
eventually you're
leaps.
dealing with a level full of.
And so
like,
I'm trying to take out these 2 main characters, and the infection count keeps going up, and you can't cure them. There's nothing you can do for you have to kill them all.
that doesn't seem very Hitman-y.
It's not. It's anti-Hitman-y, this level.
Not just that, but like you are actually talking about Hitman 1.
Yes. Well, no. Hang on. I will get. We'll
He's
talk about
going
Hitman 2 in a little
somewhere
bit.
with
Okay,
this.
okay.
I'm just trying to give you an idea of the chaos and the insanity of my Saturday
So we got
night.
the setup.
So I kill the 2 guys, and it counts at like maybe 15, 17, something like that, which is already insane for
This
targets
is so
I have
not
to kill.
Hitman. You've murdered like 30 people so
Oh,
far.
it gets worse, man.
David plays
It gets so much
This
worse.
is how David plays Hitman. I mean, technically, you are an assassin and you are killing people. So,
At this point, if I have 17 targets, there's no way I can get away without being caught. So I decided I'm going to just pull out a gun and I'm going to start killing people.
okay.
Well, because I'm being loud and I'm attracting all the fucking guards on the map and everybody's panicking, all the infected people are running around and they're infecting everybody else to the point to where by the time I've completed this map, I've killed about 90 people. I'm running around knocking out people who are not infected just to save their lives. So I don't actually have to kill them. And just this sequence
what
that went
happened-
on for 45 minutes drove me insane. I was laughing my ass off.
Wait,
But
question.
yeah,
When this came out last year, right?
yes. I didn't know. I didn't
I never
really
heard
pay
anybody
attention
talk
to it.
about this mission because this is like totally against the
Came
spirit of
later.
Hitman,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, they announced this, but like I don't think any of us played it. I mean, we were knee deep in.
Oh,
whatever
so
else was out.
this mission in particular was part of that.
part of that mini game bonus campaign.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably why I didn't
It
hear
didn't
about
come out the year that Hitman came out, and it didn't come out this year.
Yeah, it came out in between.
it. Okay.
So November 2017.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I was just playing this, and it was so interesting how naturally this fucking virus was spreading and infecting, and I would have to kill these NPCs because they would just run away and they would run to other NPCs and they get infected and they'd run away, or something like that, or just go on their natural routines and they would go infect other people. So look around, all those red dots, all those outlines, those people I got to kill. I gotta kill all those people.
This is totally okay. So, Hitman gives you like a grade, right? It gives you like a score of some kind at the end.
Yes.
What in the world was your?
Surprisingly, amazingly, it was a 2-star.
Which isn't good.
2-star is not good. It's like
What's the max you can get in this game?
5-star, which is Silent
Oh, yeah.
Assassin.
That's pretty bad.
No, this
Definitely not Silent Assassin. Oh
This
my
was
God. Is it even possible to do this and get Silent Assassin?
I supposedly you can. I have no idea how. I have just sat down and thought about it and tried to figure it out, and I can't.
So someone probably did it online with a Guitar Hero guitar or something.
Probably something like
Can I
that.
briefly talk about
But
Hitman 2?
Hitman 2 in and of itself is so good, guys.
It is more of Hitman 1. I mean, not this Hitman 1.
No. It was 90% of this Hitman.
It is more Hitman.
Minus the death.
I love that this footage is just so anti-Hitman. It's just,
I
level-
can't help. I have to do this. This is the game. Look, there's 41 people I still have left to kill. 41 people.
Okay, we get it. This is interesting. But can I briefly talk about Hitman 2?
yes.
Please.
It is very good. The levels designs are really great. I mean, they're still kind of like boring, like more boring than they would need to be. I mean, like the locales, you know, we've talked about it, you know, countless times. Me and Nolan about how we'd love, you know, just do it like in a theme park because that's dope. And like when I was playing the suburban level, someone was like,
Suburban? You mean
the suburbia level? Like there's another level in a neighborhood. It's kind of like the level from Blood Money, but
A New Life.
like a whole block, you know, of a neighborhood. Someone was like, "Oh, this would be cool at night because you could be like it'd be like a slasher film." And then I'm like, "Oh my god, a neighborhood on Halloween with people like trick or treating and stuff is like so great. Like Hitman needs to do stuff like that because." You know,
it has
there's a
been
level
doing
in Mumbai.
The infection's spreading. I have to kill you all now.
Sorry. There's a level in Colombia. And it's like, they're well-made levels, but like... Sorry.
Brad is patient zero. Yeah. No, I agree. There's
continue, Brad.
the variety levels. It could definitely be better. Like a theme park, that would be amazing.
Dude, it'd be so cool. Or like
But
the fucking beach or something. I don't know.
But the thing about the
someone on a
levels they've
wave
made
runner.
thus far and the support they did since Hitman 1 launched is that they've taken those levels and they've remixed them and redone them.
Sure,
there's a Sapienza map.
Please stop talking about Hitman 1 just for a second. Listen.
I'm trying to give you an example of what to expect later on.
This is a fine like listen, you know, people know about all the Hitman 1 stuff that updates when you get Hitman 2, and that's great. But like there's something specifically about Hitman 2 I want to talk about, and that's like the story objective missions. I feel like they're way too like handholdy, and I feel like the game kind of encourages you to play that way, especially because by default all those indicators are on, like actual waypoints and mission objectives that will literally tell you step by step. Okay, now get this outfit. Okay, now get this item, and it walks you through like a relatively scripted sequence that culminates in a scene. You're sick too.
I've got allergies, man.
Okay, but you're.
I live in
coughing.
the cedar capital of the world, and I'm allergic to cedar.
So, and the thing is it culminates in these moments where it kind of sets up the hit for you. And I feel like that is so anti-Hitman that it's crazy how much, like, it's not only pushing these, but, like, even when you finish a level, it's like, before you move on to the next level, it's encouraging you to replay the level through these other story scenarios. And it's like, I don't understand why anyone, at least at the start, would want to experience Hitman that way, because Hitman is all about throwing you into the unknown. And if you discover like a clever way of like, oh my god, I can take the actor's outfit and like participate in that play, like in Blood Money, that is something you had to figure out on your own. That is something maybe you talked to somebody, you know, who also played the game, and they're like, oh my god, I didn't know you could do that.
I mean,
But here they walk you through all these possible scenarios, and I feel like that is such a a lame. I mean, it seems lame to me.
I agree with you to a point. I do think that the game is far more it is the most handholdy.
That's weird though,
Hitman
right? This is made by the
ever.
same people who made games like Blood Money
Yes,
and Silent
it
Assassin.
is
What
the
I'm
best.
saying
This is the
is
best
that-
Hitman game since then.
But what I'm saying is that I would say that Blood Money and those earlier titles were a bit too complicated for their own good. How the amount that you had to explore when you had to figure out what territories you can walk through with certain outfits.
I mean, I think that's going to depend
just
on
finding
who you
all
talk
these
to about
objects
it.
in the environment. That could be a little hard to do.
I mean, I specifically started playing Blood Money. I got like 4 levels into it, and I decided
sure.
it was a bit much for me.
Well, it's also really jank and the controls are.
But
all
it was
fucked. It's so much easier to play Hitman now. I just don't understand why it's so hand-holdy now.
I know,
And
I
you
totally-
can turn all that stuff off, and you don't have to play it that way. But it all
By default.
defaults to on, and it's almost like the developer who obviously knows how to make a good Hitman game because these levels are really well done and the level design's incredible. That it's ruining it to kind of walk you through it. It's like creating the world of Breath of the Wild, but then like having the progression of like a Skyward Sword with feet telling you what to do every 2 seconds.
I get it.
Like it's so counterintuitive to the true spirit of Hitman, which the developers obviously get. They just don't. I think they're so terrified of a new player being overwhelmed that they're kind of ruining their own experience.
I mean, this could start to delve into like a little bit of a cynical debate here, but like part of you has to wonder like is how much of this is being dictated by like outside influence, like within like the publisher saying like we want to make sure this appeals to as many
went
people as possible,
independent.
so make sure you. Well, I guess you're right. They did.
I mean,
there
granted,
was
Warner
this is
Brothers is
published by
publishing
Warner
now,
Brothers. Yeah.
but like,
But like they had to approve. Like how much of this do you think? Like, there's obviously going to be meetings between IO Interactive and whoever's publishing the game to like look at the progress and
but
see what.
it seems core to their philosophy now because it does seem like a natural evolution of where they were at with that last Hitman game, where they're kind of setting it up like all the different story scenarios. They have a fucking checklist. It's all about doing them all and getting points for doing them all. Like it's a natural evolution from the last one, and now they're even surfacing that stuff even more. So it's clear that from the developer standpoint that this is important to them. So it's so weird to see that at odds with the best Hitman level design that there's ever been, which it only seems cool when you're not going through these scripted scenarios. It's so weird where like I was playing these hits and I would finally get into a good position of like I could take out my target now. I fucking did it, and it was not following any of these story missions. It was not doing the scripted shit, and I got to that point where I was like, well, I guess if I just kill them now, that's not what they want me to do. I guess I'll try to go back and do it the story way, so I can have like some fun dialogue when I do the hit or whatever. And I'm like, it just felt cheap. Like, this is not how I should play Hitman. It should be hard to get to the point I'm at now, but it's not. It's not hard. It's easy to play Hitman now, and it's more about just doing it all the different ways instead of getting into the position to get the kill in the first place.
I mean,
it's easy to get a kill in this game. On your target.
I totally get what you're saying, but I think it's always just going to come down to accessibility and the fact that like at the end of the day, what's important to them is that as many people play this game as humanly possible. And I know that
they've
sucks.
made a brilliant game that they made too accessible.
You're right, and you're probably right. It's like I played Blood Money and I decided that this was too much for me. Like I can't keep up with this, so I stopped playing it. But I don't think I would ever want them to change that. It would be like if someone I knew decided they were going to play Red Dead Redemption 2 and then decided this is too much, this is too overwhelming, like they don't give me enough direction, or like hunting is too simmy or whatever, like make it more accessible, and I'd be like, what you're ruining what makes this game so special. I think it's the same situation here.
And I don't mean to say you're wrong, Brad, but I think that you're overstating the level of like ease per se that they have going with the this mission stories in here, because there are like most of these missions in the game, they have like 5 or 6 that you can experience.
Okay, well I have
usually.
a quick question.
But there's also so many like challenges in there to kill your targets or do different things on a map that doesn't tell you anything
they're
at all
designed for
that you have to figure
replayability.
out on your own.
So
There's easily 4 times as many challenges for figuring things out as there are missions.
But let me give you a quick example. Like there's the level in Mumbai, right, where on the top of like some like building that like skyscraper that's in construction, they're also filming like a Bollywood film, right?
Yeah,
And your goal is to kill the actor, right?
Yeah.
Now I've gotten into scenarios where getting up there is tricky, right? But where I could kill the Bollywood actor, but the story wants me to fuck with the fan and to like turn up the setting of the fan to blow him off the building during a scene, as one of the grips or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a cool idea, but to do that, you're walking through this checklist of like, okay, now get the script, now give it to this person, now get this outfit, and it's like, that doesn't even happen organically like it could in those older Hitman games. It's like, to do the cool thing that the developer obviously wants you to see, you have to play it this scripted way. And it's like, I wish I could have that cool moment with the fan naturally, but you can't. You have to follow the script.
So, quick question. You mentioned a while ago that by default, these certain settings are on that make it more scripted.
That too, yes.
What
You can turn that stuff
when
off.
you turn that stuff off, what does it change? So you mentioned a while ago, like you had gotten to a point where you were in a position to take out your target,
Yes.
but it was different to what they were encouraging you to do.
Yes.
What specifically stopped you from taking that shot at that moment?
Because I felt like IO didn't want me to play that way, because it was actually not that hard to get into that position. Older Hitman games are fucking hard.
Yeah, I got on the riverboat in
Yeah,
Blood
no,
Money,
that's-
and I
that's
was like,
specifically a
I
hard
was like,
stage.
fuck
Yeah.
this.
Like it is not hard to get to your targets in these games.
Yeah.
And to take them out. I mean, just because it's so mechanically easy to play, so the fact that you feel like you're not getting a full experience unless you're doing all these story missions just feels so off. And it's like, it is hard to not respect the amount of work they put into these huge ass levels, because it's so much.
Well, let me give you an example that's the opposite scenario, okay? In the Suburbia map, which has two targets on it.
Yes.
One's the security officer, one's like the main target you have to figure
Yeah.
out. Well, there's a way to take them both out at the exact same time. That's not
Same
a
thing with the
mission story.
racetrack.
That's not a mission story. So
But they don't tell you how to do it.
they don't tell you how to do it. I had to figure it out. So what you had to do was you had to go destroy every single security camera that was on the map. There were 12 of them, spread across a couple houses. When that did, it freaked out the security guy. And he decides that he has to go give a briefing to the main target. Mm-hmm. Now, he goes and meets him in a backyard right next to where a big party's happening. And next door to that party is a empty house with a tree fort, a kid's tree fort, where you could, you could drop a
homage to
sniper
Blood
rifle.
Money.
And there are 3 challenges in the game to kill a target: 1 from the treehouse with a sniper rifle, 2 to kill both targets in a single run, or 3 kill both targets with a single bullet.
But do you see how the challenges have guided that experience almost?
All the challenges tell me is that I have to meet this requirement. It doesn't tell me how I get there. It doesn't tell me how I do it.
So that part requires some creative thinking.
And just like you mentioned with the Miami racetrack, where you have to push the father out onto the track where the daughter's racing and have her run into her father and kill them both.
That's sad.
You got to figure that out. The
They're-
game
they're
doesn't
bad
tell you how
people,
to
Nate.
do
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay, good. They're bad.
So-
Okay, maybe you're right. But like, I mean, you can't deny that all those different story missions are front and fucking center. And as soon as you finish a stage, they're egging you on to do even more of them.
I'll give you one more example as we close out.
Okay. I mean, I believe. Go ahead.
In Mumbai, so you have 3 different targets, right? You have the Bollywood director, you got the queen of the slums, and then you've got a third party that you don't know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All you know, he's somewhere
A
on the
mystery
map.
target.
He's a mystery target. Well, turns out if you do a little digging, you find some information out. There's another assassin on the map that's been hired by both the Bollywood director and the queen of the slums to actually take each other out. So what you can do is you can kill the director any way you want without the, or even with the assassin finding out.
Okay.
You can find the assassin. You can knock him out or kill him. You can take his outfit. You can use some information on a security dongle to find out a phone number to call the opposite target and report it and get paid. Well, when that happens, for my scenario, it was the Queen of the Slums. She called the third target to meet with him. The third target went over to her place, which is in a train yard. Mm-hmm. So I went to the back of the train yard. I found a lever that let me switch the tracks, and a commuter train that just passes the map every now and then, instead of going on the regular track, slammed into the train house and killed both my targets.
Are you sure that wasn't part of a story script?
It was not a story mission.
So
it was a challenge.
Oh, well.
But I didn't. How am I supposed to know what scenario was to get that? So I had to figure it out. But it was such a cool moment.
That does sound like a cool moment. And to be
There's
fair,
a lot of moving parts that seem like really dynamic, but then when it comes down to these types, the types of moments you're describing, it's not something that's very dynamic. It's something that's very.
It also just sounds too
scripted.
Like the first time anyone plays this game,
Well, I mean, I don't
they're going to end up going down the scripted route, and those more dynamic moments seem that they're going to be more for replayability.
And my problem is, I think if people kind of go down that scripted route, I don't think those people become big Hitman fans. I don't think, because that's so against the spirit of Hitman. You could play through those 5 levels doing these stories things,
Yeah.
like following waypoints in no time at all. It just seems.
We do need to move on.
Yeah, we do need to move on. It's like yeah. I don't fucking know.
You
disagree
you are
with you
enjoying this
there.
game though.
Yeah. And I got that one more level, and it seems really like a really cool level. It's just.
I don't know. I've been having a blast with this
I
game.
turn everything
I
off,
put 30
so-
hours into playing maybe 5 or 6 maps.
All from Hitman 1.
Practically, yeah. Some of them were from Hitman 1, yeah. But
Just
it's been
kidding. I'm just
so
kidding.
much fun. This is Game of the Year material, man.
All right.
I swear to you.
1 or
It's
Hitman 2?
Hitman 2.
This is automatically an asterisk award for you.
I disagree. This might be this.
Well, that's
95% certain this is on my list this year.
Well, that's cool. It does sound fun. Nolan said he's been playing it too.
It is very cool. Hitman 2 is very cool.
All right. Are we ready to move on?
Yes,
we got a
we
lot of news to cover, so we're going to try and move through these at a fairly quick pace. I will say this. Next week, like I mentioned earlier, is instead of doing the regular podcast on Thursday, we will likely be doing some sort of live commentary of the VGAs, which is Jeff Keighley's annual video game award show. So
Christoph Waltz is going to be there.
And I will say
Yeah.
a lot of the news topics we had this week revolve around that show.
So are the Russos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I
news
saw
topic,
that.
damn it.
Oh, yeah. that's
Okay,
right.
so why don't we start with the news topic? I don't know if you can see what those are labeled over from here.
I'm going to have to just kind of click through them, so
Okay,
bear
well-
with me.
Okay,
This is a good one.
this is a good one. So, like I said, a lot of these are going to have to do with potential announcements coming out of the VGAs. The VGAs have, year over year, have become kind of a, yet another event where it's all about the announcement. It's all about the world premieres and debuts and stuff. A lot of times, big games get announced at this thing. Skyrim was fucking announced at the VGAs. There's been a few. Last of Us was announced at the VGAs. Those kinds of things.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So there's a lot of rumors, and we're gonna start with this one. There is a new Alien game that is pretty much confirmed at this point to be making its debut next week. It's called Alien Blackout, I think is the rumored title, based off of a trademark. And we already know this is being developed by Cold Iron Studios, I want to say it's called.
So not Creative Assembly.
Not Creative Assembly. And here's the thing. Alien Isolation is one of my favorite games ever at this point. I fucking love that game. It's easily my favorite piece of Alien content outside of the original Alien movie, probably. Mm-hmm. I'm having a really hard time getting excited for this announcement. I am both very excited because I want something to fill that void since we know we're not going to get an Alien Isolation 2 anytime soon. But I'm also pretty much like there's like almost no chance.
Who's the developer?
Cold Iron Studios.
Who is that?
That's a studio. I think
it was
was
bought by-
specifically for this. from my
Bless you.
understanding.
Oh no, it's spreading.
Great. This is the Patient Zero podcast.
Oh God.
Oh,
Are you feeling ill, Crispin?
yes.
Dude, you can convince your brain to make you sick. So
Alien
don't
Isolation.
be stupid.
Alien Isolation was a fantastic game. This is being developed by a different team, a new team.
You got to do the research on the developer. You know, when I heard that Mercury Steam was going to be making a Castlevania game, I went back and played Jericho.
Okay. Well, I will pull that up in a second because I looked at this earlier.
It's an MMO studio. Oh,
Their track record is not. I don't want to say it's not the greatest.
well, you
but
know,
like,
the Until Dawn
it doesn't.
studio
You're
sucked
right.
ass until Dawn.
It doesn't indicate that. It does not indicate, and also the classification for the trademark for this game is a shooter. And I don't know if that was the same classification that Alien Isolation was trademarked under.
I mean,
but, like,
it's possible, yeah.
I don't know what kind of game this is going to be. Ultimately, I'm super excited because I do love Alien, and I would love
It's going
another.
to be a games as a service.
I would love another great Alien game,
I-
but I'm not holding my breath right now. I am worried this is going to be
I
something.
wanna say-
I'm worried this is
Gotcha.
going to be more like Alien Colonial Marines in terms of like concept.
Let's not hope that.
I mean, I'm not talking about like execution.
This
I'm
is
talking
going to
about
be like
just
Left 4 Dead with aliens. That's my
like
guess.
which
That-
I don't really. I'm
that's
not
not
particularly interested in.
bad idea, but
Also, there's hints that they're talking about exploring different parts of the universe that haven't been explored in video games, which means maybe they're going to start tinkering with like stuff from Prometheus. Which who knows what that means? I don't know. I'm both very excited and very worried about this.
I
this
wanna-
announcement, but that is almost confirmed at this point.
the best
know it's
case
not
scenario.
Oh, and also the other part of this, which is strange, was that this tease was first came out with Hideo Kojima went to Fox and was touring a game studio over there for whatever, and was tweeting about it, and for whatever reason, like now people are wondering if Hideo Kojima is somehow involved with this project in some way.
Please,
I don't
people
know.
really getting their
Please
hopes
no.
up big for these games.
I know, but the thing is, Kojima. We all know Kojima is like a big movie fan. Like he loves movies. He spends a lot of time watching movies. So maybe he was just visiting the studio.
Like Metal Gear
because he
Solid
loves
wouldn't
Alien.
exist without movies.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know. He will be at the VGAs, so who knows? Maybe he has some kind of surprise involvement with this project. I don't know what it is.
I would say the best case scenario for this game is that we're looking at the third Batman Arkham Origins scenario, to where development of a sequel
To Alien Isolation.
to Alien Isolation got handed off to another studio.
I don't
Yeah,
think that's
that-
going to happen because I don't think Isolation did all that well, right?
I mean, even if
didn't do that well, but it did well enough to.
I seem to
they
remember
made back
them-
their budget.
I seem to remember them talking about that game being a success, even if it was a modest one.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know. You know, you're right. If this is somehow like a spiritual successor or a sequel to Alien Isolation, but being developed by a different team, like I'd be all for it.
You know what
because
I want it to
love
be
Alien
like?
Isolation.
I want it to be like that Aliens RPG that Obsidian was
Obsidian was
making.
working on.
What is Obsidian doing these days?
Okay, well, I don't know if this next hit the next thing. I don't know if this is going to be what you're trying to transition to, but it might be. Oh,
Alien again.
no, again. Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah,
We're gonna shift gears here because we can't tell
So,
which one we're switching
yeah.
to.
Sorry, it's a little hard to read.
Metroid also
Metroid.
being potentially teased at being at the Video Game Awards. I think the timing wise, it makes sense. You know, it wasn't at E3. Nintendo typically does some stuff at the Game Awards. You know, I think that's the right audience for it. There's also been people out there, people kind of in the know, teasing about maybe Metroid being there.
Yeah.
The other
A
question
lot of
is
tweets that are very heavily suggestive that this is going to be there.
the other question is it, you know, the reveal of, you know, gameplay reveal of Metroid Prime 4? What I'm hoping, what I have my fingers crossed for is, hey, Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Switch, that's going to be coming soon.
I feel like that.
And here's a gameplay trailer for Metroid Prime 4.
I feel
That
like-
is the dream.
That is a dream, but I feel like that kind of announcement doesn't happen at VGAs. That kind of announcement happens at E3.
Why? Well, why do you say that?
I'm saying I don't
Or
think,
has its own Nintendo.
I don't
Direct.
think VGA is typically where they announce like collections. It's where they make world premieres of games that have never been shown before. I don't think you're going to see them say Metroid Prime Trilogy is coming to Switch, and then Metroid Prime 4 is this is what it looks like.
I'm saying
I
that's
just
like
don't see
the
it happening.
level of announcement that, like, that is not a big announcement, and I don't think Nintendo's gonna make a big announcement at this thing. It's a big announcement for me, obviously, but it's
No, I
not.
mean,
It's
showing-
not a big announcement. in
Showing a
general.
world premiere trailer of Metroid Prime 4 is absolutely a big announcement.
No, I'm talking specifically about the trilogy.
I know, and that's the part I don't think is going to happen.
That has to happen. It has to happen. It's been so long.
But what I'm saying, even if it does happen, I don't think it's going to happen at the VGAs. I don't think
Well,
they're going to announce a bundle, like a trilogy pack.
But it's got to happen before Metroid Prime 4.
Sure,
obviously.
but
Yeah.
dude, I think
So
if,
they're
I
running
think
out of time.
If Metroid Prime 4 is at the VGAs, I would be willing to bet money that it is a cinematic trailer at best.
Oh, man.
I think that's realistic.
And I think Alien's going to be a mobile game. Fuck you, Nick. I could do it too.
the problem here, Nick, or
It's going to be
Brad,
a fucking Alien MOBA.
the problem here, Brad, is that we are like 2 weeks away from the release of Smash, and Nintendo is in like full Smash mode, so they don't want any announcement to undercut Smash at all.
No, this the VGAs, man. I mean, this is... I mean,
Don't
sure,
worry, there will
Smash
be
is coming
super.
out.
There will most definitely be Super Smash commercials or placement
yeah.
everywhere at the VGAs.
They might have the
Sure.
final trailer. That might be what they have.
But I mean,
It's gonna win.
it
best
is an
unreleased
announced game that we know little
Best-
about, so
best unreleased
you got to
game.
talk about it eventually. And,
Oh,
and
my
this is
goodness.
a platform.
You're right.
This is a place to do that.
You're right.
So.
I'm just saying, like
I just want
think
that. All I'm saying is I want that fucking trilogy to happen, and if it doesn't, I'm going to be really pissed off.
You're right.
Do not put out a Metroid game over 10 years since the last in that series with a number on it without re-releasing
dude, you're
the original games. Don't do it.
I feel like that's almost guaranteed to happen. I mean, that we get that trilogy pack.
I mean, look at
all
like,
I'm saying is
yeah.
there is no way they're going to show this trailer next week and then not have another trailer between now and release time. Like
Well, I didn't
there
say
will be
that.
another major event for Metroid
Sure.
Prime 4.
It'll be a whole fucking direct. I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah.
But I still say VGAs is a good place to do something with Metroid. Just give me that.
Yeah,
fucking trilogy.
I would be shocked if we don't see Metroid Prime 4 next week. Move on. Next topic. That's exciting though. That's super fucking exciting. Metroid Prime is great.
Atmosphere.
All right, now you can talk about Obsidian.
Obsidian teases new game announcement ahead of Video Game Awards. Does anybody look up the details of this?
It looks. I mean,
it looks like an old timey sci-fi RPG.
It reminds me a little bit like the visual style of like their marketing or their teases reminds me of like BioShock Infinite a little bit in terms of
So
like,
like,
but in space.
This is with Take-Two, right? That's the thing.
Well, here's the
That's
thing:
what I
is this,
heard.
they're owned by Microsoft now.
Well,
Does
they
this-
are now.
Does this suddenly make
but
the
that
project?
doesn't mean the project with Take-Two didn't exist.
Yeah, but like when they acquired it, when Obsidian was acquired by Microsoft, did that suddenly shift that project to only on Microsoft
No,
platforms?
not necessarily. I mean, that's
No.
not how it works. I mean, there's contracts in place. If they're at a point where they're showing off a new game, then it would have had to have been in development, long before this Microsoft thing, which was recent, very recent. So it's possible that they are doing a game with Take-Two, and I think that is what we know. I think I also heard that it's a new IP.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is a little strange. How cool? Well, it's not strange, but how cool would it be if like Obsidian did like an isometric RPG in the BioShock universe?
like a
That would be
BioShock
dope.
Infinite isometric RPG.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I mean,
right?
like,
what
yeah,
else are they
yeah.
doing with BioShock right now?
that's a
I
good
mean,
question.
who knows what Ghost Story Games is working on?
Well, here's
I mean,
the
I
thing:
hope not BioShock.
there's been teases about like a studio somewhere working on a BioShock game for a while. We don't know who it was or what it was.
No,
What
I
if
thought it
this
was
is
2K Marin.
Huh?
I thought it was 2K Marin, or
I don't think they exist anymore.
it was another 2K studio.
2K Marin, isn't that the studio that did Mafia 3? No.
No, they're the ones.
2K
who
Marin
did
did
like,
BioShock 2.
BioShock
Yeah.
2 and XCOM.
Oh, Enemy Within?
The Bureau.
No, the Bureau.
The Bureau XCOM Declassified.
I don't think they
Yeah.
exist anymore. Or they do sports games still.
God, that game.
Yeah.
That could have oh my god. That's one of the biggest disappointments
There is
ever.
potential.
That could have been so
There is
fucking cool.
potential.
Man, that original like demonstration of the Bureau was pretty cool.
Oh god, what if this
That
is
was
an
a different
XCOM game?
No,
Nah.
I don't think so.
We're not due for another XCOM game. For
I mean,
another
it
year.
is heavily teased as being something set in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Which also makes me
XCOM
think
takes place
it's
on
not
Earth.
BioShock, because if it was BioShock in space, it would be System Shock.
there's no way this is an XCOM title.
Dude, I
No,
saw.
I'm saying, but
This is a little bit
the
off,
chances of it being a BioShock
but
title
I
are pretty
read
slim
a
as well.
scary ass thread on Era about Starbreeze maybe like fucking disappearing soon, like going the way of Telltale. Have you heard about this? Or did you read that thread?
Ooh.
I thought that was about Overkill. Didn't think that was about Starbreeze.
I heard the thread, the scary part was that, Starbreeze overall, they got a lot of hands in a lot of pots that aren't making them money. And the other scary part is like they're publishing Psychonauts too. That terrified the shit out of me. So I hope none of that is.
But Psychonauts 2 it would probably just shift and find a different publisher.
Psychonauts 2 is so far along at this point that
We haven't seen it.
a publisher doesn't have to do much to just finish the job and rake in a payday.
You say that, but like, look what happened with the original Psychonauts. They ended up at fucking who's that goddamn publisher? Majesco. And that did them no favors in making that game sell. And I don't know. The Psychonauts 2 is one that I think has the chance to be really special. And I don't want anything to like fuck that up because it's kind of like a dream project.
But Psychonauts didn't have a publisher originally that bailed on them, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I'd like somebody to confirm that, but...
Oh, and they're publishing System Shock 3? Is that Starbreeze?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Oh, dear.
System Shock 3.
That sucks. Okay.
And it is somewhat related because Psychonauts 2 was announced at the VGAs, and I think that if they're ready to show like full-on gameplay trailer blowout, which you've only seen like demo-y like tech stuff before, I think the VGAs would be a good place to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we might see that next week.
Cool. Next news topic. All right. So this was somewhat tied to the VGAs only because there's also questions of whether or not Rocksteady is going to be at the VGAs with their unannounced game. But the rumor lately has been, so Jason Schreier, who we all know has a lot of credibility in the industry, he's written several books. And he's written a book.
He's written books.
He's written a book.
He's published.
He's a reporter with some clout.
Yes.
Well, a lot of clout. Probably the most respected one, like doing
got
actual
a lot of
reporter
strings.
work in the
when he says something,
many sinister soups.
when he says something, you listen because there's a good chance that he's on the right path.
He's claimed that he knows more or less kind of what this thing is.
What Rocksteady's
he
next
said that he's heard what they're working.
And he says it's not Superman, or he's like 90% sure it's not Superman. It might be like maybe tangentially related, but it's not a Superman game.
He's saying that every rumor that we've heard up till now is bullshit.
He's denied Justice League in the past, and as well as Batman. But he also says he hears that it's games as a service,
which fucking terrifies the shit out of me.
Here's what he said. Here's what he said verbatim. He said, "So I've heard what they're working on. I don't really want to spoil it just for the sake of spoiling it, but every single rumor I've heard just seems to be bullshit. Like, there are Superman rumors, Justice League rumors, and it feels like these rumors are begetting other rumors. So, like, people on 4chan are posting like, oh, well, I've heard this so many times, and just like accepted lore, because if you see like 4 different iterations of the same Superman rumor, then it's, oh, of course they're making Superman. I mean, the thing I've heard is not Superman at all. I can 100% definitely say no, they're not doing a Superman game.
I can't.
Oh, I can't say that, but I don't believe it. But I do not believe it. I think what we're going to see from them is a game about a group of superheroes, and it will be like a games as service type thing.
But he's also denied Justice League previously. Not like, this week or anything.
He says he doesn't think it's Batman related, but we'll see.
I mean, there's other groups in DC catalog that are not Justice League.
Well, can we also back up for a second and talk about how horrifying this games as a service thing sounds?
Yeah, because Avengers is also supposedly maybe going to be a games as a service thing. I think we might have 2 competing DC versus Marvel destinies. Maybe, and know about maybe both of them next week.
It's so hard to get excited
or at least
about
the Marvel one, because that's also in the news.
It's so difficult to get excited about a pending announcement because there's always that underlying fear that whatever you're excited for could be games as a service.
Yeah, but then this guy's fucking happy. So it's all different people,
I'm not okay. I'm not saying
this
I would
couch.
I hate
that couch.
I'm not saying the games as service.
Fuck your couch.
I'm not saying that games as a service is instantly like is my preferred method, but I don't think it would completely discount me. I mean, if it's a superhero, the thing that's weird to me. I mean,
Hold on.
Are we sure that this is how confident do we feel that this is a DC thing too?
I don't know.
No, that's been confirmed. I'm pretty sure
That has been confirmed.
Pretty sure.
Okay,
that's been
so
confirmed.
Green Lantern core game, calling it.
Okay, that'd be cool.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe
not.
I think the
no,
real-
or maybe Legion of Superheroes. Whoa, that would be crazy. Blowing my mind right now. I don't care. Let's see what happens.
Okay,
But like, how exciting
Hold
is any
on.
of that if you have to play it online with other people?
hold on.
Like,
Okay, first of all, stop. Second of
Yeah.
all, that is a thing of taste. That is a Nick thing. I will say the real, I think, overall fear of games as a service is not that everyone doesn't want to play multiplayer. It's that lately in this industry, the service part of that has been fucking train wrecks all over the place. And I think that's the true fear of games as a service, not the multiplayer part, which I know, like me and you, we don't like that. But it's
think
that
about-
it's the shit that EA's
it
been
just
doing and the
sucks,
shit
man.
that
It sucks.
fucking
Think about
de-
how fucking amazing Batman Arkham Knight was. Like, that experience.
True.
Yeah,
Fucking amazing.
yeah.
I want more like
Well,
that.
we don't know. We don't.
And
There's-
Warner Brothers
we
there's
don't know.
money.
There is nothing to say that Rocksteady would do that. Okay.
Yeah, Arkham Knight didn't make them
Except Jason
billionaires.
Schreier is suggesting that it could be a games as a service
Could
thing,
be.
which is
But what is
He's saying,
what
he's
is a
saying that's
rock?
what he thinks.
What does a Rocksteady Games as a service look like though?
Right.
Because this is a studio that just makes single player games.
He's saying what he thinks based on knowledge
What
that he
he
has
knows.
that we
based
don't.
based on the knowledge that he has. Yeah, like I think Warner Brothers has learned its lesson after Shadow of War.
dude. If
But
anything,
they
Like,
want to
they
be
got
billionaires, not
fuck-
millionaires.
They got fucking hammered.
wait, is Shadow of War considered a games as a service?
No,
The way they
Well,
supported that game with fucking
not-
loot boxes and the
the whole
in game
loot box
scenario,
but
like
that-
it
that-
basically
The
was.
thing is, that
No,
shit
no,
is
no,
so
no.
easy to ignore.
No, no,
Like,
no,
if
no.
that's the games
when,
as a
when
service,
they say games as a service, they mean more like Destiny.
see, that's my fear, man. I don't want that shit. I don't want that shit.
I don't know, man. Could be cool. You never
Could be Battle
know.
Royale.
It could be cool.
Superhero Battle Royale.
You son of a bitch.
Remember when Monolith
If I did,
made
I
a Lord
don't
of the
know.
Rings MOBA? That happened.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
Sometimes you get these studios that are respected do things that they think are going to make them a lot of money because that's what's popular at the time. And
let me
then
tell you
Monolith, makers of Fear, makers of No One Lives Forever,
Makers of
makers
Condemned.
of Condemned,
Let me
makers
tell you-
of Blood, they made a Lord of the Rings MOBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Makers of Fear.
But check this out, man. Another superhero based games as a service game that came out a few years ago that we were all pretty positive on. Gotham City Imposters. Remember that?
Yeah, you know how much.
Remember that?
Do you know-
Also Monolith.
Do you also know how much that game I played, even though it was great? Like 4 hours of it, and then I was done.
That was also Monolith.
Yeah,
Was it?
that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
so Warner Brothers has a history of putting talent on bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, next
Yeah.
news topic.
What do you want to bet that the Harry Potter game will be there?
Ooh, I would love to see that.
No way. No fucking way.
I mean that trailer. That
Dude, I will
No,
shit my pants
No
if that's
way,
there.
no way.
Unless it's a games as a service, in that case, fuck it.
They need something
Oh, wait,
to make
did-
people
okay.
like Harry Potter again.
So
though, right?
another confirmed appearance at the Game Awards is going to be the Russo brothers, who you may know as the directors of the Avengers, Infinity War, which obviously has people kind of up in arms, like, what does this mean? We already know there's an Avengers game in development from Crystal Dynamics. Are we finally going to get to see that? It seems like they would be kind of a weird choice to present that, but it would make sense. There is that tie in there. The bigger question is, this would be mind blowing. I think the trailer for Infinity War Part 2 was supposed to drop in November. That was pretty much all but confirmed. It's up in, but here we are, like 2 days left in November, and it hasn't happened. So like we know the directors of the movie are going to be at the VGAs. Do you think it's possible the VGAs landed the exclusive right to like debut the fucking trailer
No.
for Infinity War 2?
No,
That sounds like a Super
that is
Bowl thing.
way too small an audience
Way too
for
small.
that big a Disney
I know,
project.
but like,
If you want a realistic scenario
No,
for
yeah.
a movie trailer from Disney showing up, it would maybe possibly 1% chance of Captain Marvel, and that's it.
I mean, maybe a tease, but
the Russo brothers wouldn't show up to announce Captain Marvel.
no, I think they're there to present the new Crystal Dynamics game. They're not working with the project.
That seems
But
weird.
if you're trying to bring in celebrities to present things, they're the perfect ones to do it.
I know,
But
like,
Crystal Dynamics has only been working on this project for what, 18 months?
fucking know.
I don't think
That
that's
doesn't mean
gotta-
they're going to be showing
yeah.
a lot of hard gameplay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not
yeah,
saying
true.
they're gonna
They
play it up there.
maybe a cinematic trailer, but like I think it's too early to talk about that game.
I don't know.
I mean, it's the perfect.
I don't
time.
think it's Infinity War Part 2 though.
Yeah.
I don't.
I
You're
don't think
probably
so.
right.
Dude, what-
I just,
like,
it's
yeah.
an interesting thought
Yeah.
because if that was the case, then Jesus Christ, Jeff Keighley just struck gold. 'Cause that would be
Sort of,
ridiculous.
I mean,
He probably
Gold
sold his
Jeff.
house and liquidated everything he owned just to get that.
Gold is bringing Ninja to the show.
Oh God, I cannot wait for all the awkward fucking. You know what am I saying? I can't. That's my least favorite part of
They
this
better
show.
not have the streamer of the year thing again.
the fuck the Oscars guy got a nomination as best director, and I'm pretty sure they only did that because they wanted that guy to be there. Because A Way Out was like one of the more forgettable games from this year, and definitely shouldn't maybe deserve best direction, whatever that fucking means in a video game. But
I mean, I think it was best direction because it was interesting the way they had two characters doing two different things. I don't know. That game had some cool things about it, even if it was ultimately kind of forgettable in a year of God of Wars and Spider-Mans and Red Deads and all that kind of shit. Anyways, fuck the Oscars. Let's move on to the next news topic. There can't be that many more. Okay, this was supposed to go first, but it's last. There are going to be confirmed upwards of 10 new video game announcements at the Video Game Awards.
yeah, but
That was what I wanted to open with.
A handful of those are going to be like fucking indies and shit.
A handful of
So
those are going to be smaller.
everyone's acting like it's gonna. We always do this before this fucking thing, and it's like,
New Elder Scrolls.
well,
getting
No Man's
dropped.
Sky seems cool. You know, it's. Yeah.
But the thing is, there are more so this year than any other year previously. I feel like there are a lot of projects we know about, but we haven't seen yet. And not to mention, we're getting lots of teases about those things in the week leading up to them.
I heard they might show Diablo 4.
You're a bastard. I don't know.
I tell you what was
possible,
probably
actually.
on the docket and was probably pulled. I bet you Todd Howard was supposed to announce the first stream of like content for Fallout 76.
Wait, for what?
For Fallout 76.
That game's out. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but
but
like
they-
the first like post-launch
DLC.
content.
They had that kind of bullshit.
There's
at the
no
Game
way that
Awards
game doesn't
too,
get
you know?
post-launch
It's not all
stuff.
big new games. It's like fucking.
You're not gonna
DLCs.
like all
It's going to be a lot
Oh,
of
I'm
DLC.
not saying I'm going to like all of these announcements, but there is a precedent for really awesome, really big games being announced. Like I said earlier, Skyrim. We got fucking Last of Us. Like No Man's Sky was announced at the VGAs.
Dark Souls
You know,
3?
we all know how that turned out. But
Or 2 was.
Dark Souls 2 was announced at the VGAs.
Yeah, by Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't
was a long
make
time
sense
ago.
in my head.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's weird.
That was when it was on TV though.
The point is,
Yeah.
we do know Jeff Keighley like busts his ass every year to try and get as many fucking announcements as he possibly can to these things, and a lot of times there's at least 2 or 3 like pretty exciting things to come out of it. And we already have a few things confirmed. We have a few things that seem pretty likely. It seems like it's going to be a pretty, from an announcement standpoint, a pretty interesting show.
Koei Tecmo is supposed to announce something, which
Koei Tecmo,
people think it's probably a Muso game, but they also might have an update on Neo 2.
maybe,
Oh.
maybe I'd take a
Because
Neo
we
2
only
now.
got like a cinematic trailer at E3. I mean,
I know. I would take some Neo too, but I feel like at this point that would just look like more Neo, which is not bad. I love Neo. Anyways, are
gonna
there
be a
any,
Telltale
are there
game on
any
Steam.
other announcements or any other news? I think that's it.
there was one small bit of sad news this week.
Is there an overlay for it?
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
I didn't think to make the news topic. But Rockstar and Take-Two have officially released the license for Agent.
Oh, right. I cannot believe how many headlines I saw this week was saying, but it's like Rockstar drops Agent trademark, but is it over? Yes, it's fucking over. Just leave it alone. It's done.
It's dead.
It's fucking dead.
No,
Click
it's
the link
just
to
gone
find out if it's over.
undercover.
Fuck you, Crispy. It's dead.
I mean, it would be nice if Rockstar did something new instead of another cowboy game, but here we are.
How about a game set in a modern American city where you're a criminal and you're jacking cars?
Yeah, I mean that's what Agent would be, right? Being
No.
a spy is basically being.
How about they do a set like Rockstar is awesome. How about do like the traditional video game settings? Give us a fantasy game. Give us a science fiction game. Yeah.
I would love to
You're
see what-
Rockstar. Stop making cowboy games.
Well,
fuck you.
do make
Stop making Grand Theft Auto games.
But what was so great about the cowboy game is that it was a cowboy game when they didn't do the cowboy game before.
I know.
So do another new thing so we can be wowed like we were with the cowboy game.
No, keep doing the cowboy game.
Why'd you? What I'm saying is, man, if you're gonna throw shade at Rockstar about making a game, tell them to stop making Grand Theft Auto and make something new. Don't tell them to stop making the thing they just
Sure.
started making. That's really
How-
fucking awesome.
How about a police procedural where you're solving crimes in a
You're making a joke, Chris Davis, but I would love a good LA Noire game,
I would too.
or at least a better LA Noire.
Chicago Noir. Dude, that would be so good.
Game. Anything, man, anything. You know what? I hope there's some fucking legit surprises at the Video Game Awards. Like shit, we have no idea.
How about an answer
Just
to that question?
left-
What the fuck
just
Retro's working
Out
on?
of left. What? Retro. I think you said.
Whatever.
I think you said
There was
Remedy.
such that strong. There was a very strong rumor that it was a Star Fox racing game. So maybe fuck Retro Studios.
All right, we need to move on. We have a lot. We have some more things to cover. That's it for news, I believe, right?
Pretty much.
Cool. All right, we're about to get into. Oh my god, I got to pull up Patreon questions. I just realized Nolan's not here. But before I do that, I want to, of course, this is the last day. This is our last show of November.
No, that wasn't the end of the news topics.
That wasn't?
There's one more I'd like to talk about for sure.
Quickly, faster.
Stop it.
Go.
It has been announced via email today as a Kickstarter backer. I got this email.
Oh right,
Way Forward is joining.
There is an overlay for that.
Joining the Bloodstained development
There it is.
team.
Yes.
Way Forward, you might know them as the people what made Shantae and a ton of other fucking games, including other Metroidvanias, did they make that fucking Mummy game? They make a
The
ton
Mummy
of,
Demastered, which evidently wasn't bad.
yeah, no, it was good actually. No, they've done like fucking tons of Metroidvanias over the years.
This is
Shantae
their
is
wheelhouse.
what they're most known for. But like this is a big red flag. Bloodstain was supposed to be out and at the like a year ago, 2 years ago, and at the very least it's supposed to be coming out, kind of soon at the beginning of next year maybe, right? Bringing
It's
in a
late
new
to
studio,
be adding a whole new studio to the
bringing
to the development.
new studio to like help finish development is like it's very late in the game, so it's kind of scary, honestly. I mean, y'all know, if you've paid attention to what I've been saying, I've been worried about this project for years at this point.
Yeah, you played that first demo and then you just like...
And this is another red flag, so I'm a little worried about Bloodstained.
And you were worried about it too after you've played the demo and did not come away impressed.
Correct. But at least Way Forward ships games, and they shipped a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
They can get shit done. Hopefully, I'd like to see this turn into something pretty cool, but I have my doubts. That's all.
All right, cool. All right,
I want
so
to give a chance.
it is of course the last week or the last podcast of November. So of course we have our supporter spotlight. If you're a supporter of us on Patreon at the, I want to say $3 tier or higher, you are eligible to become a supporter spotlight. I don't have the new one picked for next week, but we will announce it next week when we convene for the VGAs. And we ask you a series of questions, video game related questions, give you an opportunity to kind of talk about some of your favorite games and give you a platform to talk to the community about your favorite games and whatnot. And we read your responses to those questions every week on the show. So we only have one question left to read. And we usually at the end of the month we end on a 4-player minute. Of course, we end every podcast with a 4-player minute, our hype, sweat, thank you, and fuck you of the week. So we give our supporter spotlight of the month an opportunity to share theirs. So I'm going to go ahead and read Dr. Waltz. He's our supporter spotlight for November. I'm going to read his 4-player minute right now.
Dr. Waltz.
Dr. Waltz, who I'm not sure if he's in chat right now. I haven't seen him tonight, but anyways,
MD or PhD? We never established that.
Here is his.
You ever played
Yeah, no, we
Alien
did.
Infestation?
He's working towards it, right? This is the right person.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Nick,
that's
you ever
right.
played Alien Infestation?
I played it at E3, but
So no.
no.
That's a way forward game. And it's supposed to be pretty
Oh,
cool.
the DS
as
game?
a
The DS game,
series genre, as a series fan, you should play that.
It's supposed to be very good.
I know. I've heard great things about it. Don't get me wrong. It's been on my list for a while to try and play it. Anyways,
Oh, we just got it.
Dr. Waltz. Oh,
Yes.
shit. Congratulations, Dr. Waltz. He got his PhD. Holy shit.
Nice.
Everybody clap. Woo! Brad, you're not clapping.
He's finally a doctor.
Dr.
Well done,
Waltz.
doctor.
Dr. Waltz's name in chat is officially no longer.
He's no longer a liar.
He's no longer a fucking filthy liar.
He's
All
now
right.
Dr. Waltzing in debt.
Yes. All right. His 4-player minute goes as follows. His hype goes to Devil May Cry 5, even though it's still months out. I think.
Man, that's also news. Fuck.
What?
So it's been teased for a long time that the creator of the Castlevania Netflix show, which by the way, have
right.
you finished, Crispy? Fucker. Finish it. Episode 7, season 2, motherfucker, you gotta watch that.
Okay.
Watch
I'm
it.
on it. I'm on
Focus.
it. It's
Tangents,
on the
Brad,
list. I'm on
tangents.
it.
That they were gonna be
You
doing
got it, boss.
He was gonna be doing another series.
Rumored to be a Zelda
Hey,
one.
It was rumored to
Can you
be
click
Zelda.
the chat window so it jumps to the front?
Sorry, Dr. Waltz. He'd want me to talk about this. Thank you, finally. Jesus fuck. Yeah, that it was rumored to be Zelda, which sounded great. But it's Devil May Cry. And that's kind of a fucking bummer for me, and I'll explain why. Because Devil May Cry is a game series where it kind of gets like, look at Castlevania. You got a lot out of it because that was a series based on one of the older games, and even then, there's not much story in the games anyways, right? And the games are older. Like, it was based on Castlevania 3, which was an NES game, so like it's kind of abstracted, like what's really going on. But when you see like this really cool detailed anime, you get to see fucking Trevor and Sypha and Alucard like working together to fight fucking Dracula and all these other monsters. You get to see this thing that you can only imagine before in this old NES Castlevania game as something that's really cool. All this cool choreography, all these cool fights, and a more developed story, which Castlevania has never had.
But
Devil May Cry's
already
had story. It's had the crazy choreography. In fact, it's had the best choreography because of fucking the fucking Yuko Shimomura, the fucking dude Yuji Shimomura, the guy who does all the cutscenes for Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and stuff. Like, no anime is gonna bring more story and more like fights that flash and choreography that we didn't already have. So I feel like it's kind of a wasted series as opposed to Zelda, which would have been perfect for something like that, much like Castlevania was. So I'm a little disappointed.
Also, I could
good
be
point.
wrong.
Also, like, they have to get the voice actors right because again, Castlevania didn't have these iconic voice actors necessarily, but like Devil May Cry definitely does, right? Yeah. The voice of Dante has to be the voice of Dante. You can't just change that. I don't know if they're gonna get it, but
What if the series is based off of DMC and not Devil May Cry?
and Devil May Cry's had fucking anime already.
Yeah.
So like this seems so unnecessary.
I was gonna say there was an anime.
This seems so
right.
unnecessary.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
sorry
They
to.
should
Also, I'd
do
be
a
okay with
new
it.
Gungrave anime.
You know where I
There's
think
a new Gungrave game.
this is
coming
an
out
aside.
soon.
I know we're in a hurry.
How many asides are you gonna
You know what I
have?
think where DMC truly went wrong?
Oh my God, we are not having this conversation.
Listen. This is not anti-DMC.
I know, but we don't have time.
It's that when they
We're not
first
having this
when
conversation,
they
we're having this
first
conversation.
teased that game, it was punk, and that was kind of cool because Devil May Cry was metal. And they're like, we're gonna reboot this, and instead of metal, it's punk.
Yeah.
But by the end of it,
But then
they
it was
compromised
new
and they
metal.
morphed it, and it kind of became just Devil May Cry again, instead of like Devil May Cry with this completely new attitude, aesthetic.
I like that.
Devil May Cry as punk would have been amazing.
They should have kept
You're
it
right.
that way.
You're right. I completely agree with
Yeah.
you.
Anyways,
Moving on. Dr. Waltz's hype, like I said, is Devil May Cry 5. Even though it's still months out, I think everyone's faces look weird, but that's all right as long as the gameplay is strong. Right? I think that's fair. I'm a little worried. Honestly, I'm a little worried about the environments that they've shown so far. They seem kind of not very interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That and you play as 3 dudes, and they have these 2 cool ladies who've been around the series for so long.
And they
that's-
gave the fucking greatest lady in the fucking biz the fucking weirdest, stupidest pants I've ever seen.
She's got them outfit.
Oh my God, it's a fucking...
That's what PC mods are going to be for.
It's just
my
like
God, it's
come on,
so
what are they
bad.
gonna fridge these characters? I saw cutscenes where they were like looking dead on the floor. Granted, that stuff was leaked. I don't think they're actually dead. Don't worry. Like, why can't I play as Lady for fuck's sake?
Oh, they're going to make it DLC or some stupid shit.
Yeah,
Anyways,
like it was.
Did you see Did you see the collector's edition?
yes.
Comes with a van.
Oh my God.
That looks bad. Don't buy that. Buy a Figma.
All right. Dr. Waltz's sweat goes to Fallout 76, haha, because who knows how online only is going to turn out. Well, over the course of the month,
well, apparently.
there have been developments, Dr. Waltz. There have certainly been developments. You were right to be a little bit worried about that. My thank you goes to the entire 4PP cast. I've been watching and listening since 2008. I still enjoy hanging out with you, and I still enjoy hanging out with you all. Thank you. That's fucking 10 years, man. Thank you so much for listening / watching. I can't even believe we're still doing this.
Thank
but
God
you know
you
what?
didn't find anything else more entertaining.
Exactly. And my fuck you of the week, or Dr. Waltz's fuck you of the week, goes to Fortnite, I guess, because it's popular, boring to watch, and it's not Quake. Yes, yes, and yes. I concur.
Very true.
So,
Sure.
anyways, that is our 4-player minute from our supporter spotlight for the month of November, Dr. Waltz, who just got his PhD in neuroscience. So, thank you very much for your support, for sharing, throughout the month of November. We appreciate it very much. And like I said, we will announce our supporter of the month or supporter spotlight for December next week. Although, like I said, we probably won't have a regular podcast next week, but we will get to the first responses from that supporter on the next show. And I forgot, Nolan's not here, so I'm doing community. We of course have questions from our supporters on Patreon and Twitch.
Preguntas.
There's a lot of them tonight. I'm going to move through these rather quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if there's anything that requires a ton of forethought and thinking, I might skip you. I apologize if you get skipped. Leave a
We're
leave
going
a question.
lightning round. Do it.
Leave a question for next week. Let's see. Starting with Fuzzy Turd. This is a would you rather.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's not an answer.
Next one.
Would you rather have a camera that may or may not be live streaming to a large audience from the toilet you're using every time you poop?
Oh God.
It has night
What
vision.
perspective?
It has night vision,
in
and you
the
have
toilet.
poop, and you have to poop in the toilet. No loopholes. Or be forced to use only a knife that may or may not be someone's frequently used poop knife.
For what? Use the knife for what?
Anything. Anytime you have to use a knife, it may or may not be someone's poop knife. So
Can
if
I
you're
clean it off? Can
if
I
you're
wash it off?
if you're buttering your bread, it could be a poop knife.
Wash the knife.
Do you?
Yeah, just
I don't
Wash
know.
just
the knife.
Brad.
get over your compunctions about using someone's poop knife.
Yeah.
That's the
Brad,
answer. Move on.
If someone handed you a knife and said, "This is a poop knife,"
Yes.
you would wash it and use it comfortably to butter your bread?
I mean, do I have to keep giving it back to him
I'm pretty
to
sure
cut
he
his
would,
poop, or is it just my knife?
You
now?
would clean that knife, knowing it was.
I would clean it. I would
think-
boil it.
I
yes,
think, I think
would use
what would
that.
happen is that he would eat significantly less bread and butter.
You know what? You're right. He said no loopholes about the pooping on the toilet thing. He didn't say anything about no
Clean
loopholes
the
with
knife.
the knife. Just I would never use a knife for anything ever again that involves putting anything near or around my mouth.
Clean the knife.
All right. Let's see. Sorry, Chai. That might be a little bit. I might come back to that one. Mr. Green Toe says, with the likes of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Battlefield 5, and now Fallout 76 getting price drops as low as 50 to 60% after being out for only a few weeks, or a week in Fallout 76's case. God, did that happen?
Yeah, it
was
was
like
like
Black Friday deal.
$36.
Oh my god! What are your thoughts on developers? What are your thoughts of developers for dropping the price so close to the release date? First of all, the developer's decision. Should pre-ordered players receive any bonus or benefits in game for paying higher so soon, or should we banish those who want to support their favorite publishers in the first place? All in all, what is fair to you for a game to lower its price so quick after release?
They should do something with a multiplayer game. At least.
I'm gonna be honest. You always, no matter what you do, you always run the risk of paying for something and then having it drop price.
Yeah.
I bought a PlayStation VR 3 weeks before I found out about this bundle deal, right? The $200 deal. Although I think that may have been a first-gen bundle deal. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to be. You kind of have to figure out what you're comfortable spending. If you seriously think they're going to drop the price, like it's a risk worth taking. If you think it's going to happen, maybe and it's a financial issue for you. Maybe you should wait and see if the price drops. As to what they could possibly do to compensate people who spent.
I don't think.
I guess he's talking about compensating early adopters, right? With something in game.
I don't think early adopters necessarily deserve anything unless it's a competency issue with the game. If it's bugged as fuck, there needs to be a reward, I think.
Yeah, I could see.
But
that.
other than that, you bought the game at launch. You didn't.
And you
You
played
may
it.
or may not have done your research, but that's the way the game came out.
Battlefield's especially.
I mean, if
crazy,
if
'cause
you
that
buy a
just
game
came
at
out.
full price, you are technically an early adopter, and you're accepting any risk you get. Like, you are running the risk of beating it super quick and feeling like you didn't get your money's worth. You are running the risk of sales going on in the early months of release and losing out on that money. But like, it just really comes down to like how bad or how interested are you in playing that game. Like for me, most of the time when I buy a game at launch, it's because I am excited enough about playing that game that like my excitement trumps, you know, the potential downsides of, you know, buying it early, right? You know, like,
Sure.
I would rather pay full price and play it now than have to wait 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever.
If it's
48
if it's a
hours,
matter
doesn't
of
matter.
weeks, I'd wait.
But like, you really honestly also like, first of all, if a game comes out in November, there's always a good chance it's going to be part of a Black Friday sale or a Cyber
That's
Monday
true.
sale
That's
somewhere.
Yeah,
So if you
that's
buy it in October, November, there's
Also, make
like,
smart
wasn't Red Dead
decisions.
2 also part of a Cyber Monday sale and Black Friday sale somewhere? I think I saw
Not Red
that.
Dead.
Not that kind
There
of
was a way to get
discount.
it for $35 on Cyber Monday. I'm pretty sure I saw that. Maybe
Red Dead?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think
maybe
I'm
on like
crazy.
a trade-in or something, but like
I don't know about that. Somebody had. I'm not crazy, right?
But
Somebody
like
saw that.
Battlefield just came out.
yeah,
That is true.
$30.
yeah.
I heard it was doing quite poorly compared to Battlefield.
But typically, also when they drop the price like this, aren't they trying to compensate for low initial sales at launch?
1. Of course they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
So like,
of course.
you are one. If that happens, you are one of the few people who did pay full price.
All right, next
at launch.
question.
Anyways, let's see. Scum Guzzler.
Oh, that game.
Oh, my God.
That name again.
Come Guzzler, go.
Oh my god! If you were forced, to pick a character to use for an ergonomic anime titty
And
mouse
guzzle
pad,
their cum.
God damn it! Who would you choose and why? I mean, Nolan already has a great Deadpool mouse,
Yeah.
ergonomic Deadpool mouse with Deadpool boobies.
Savaria, Valkyria Chronicles.
Hey, what is it?
Sakura?
Haiti?
Soul Calibur.
Haiti?
Savaria. Can
Can I get a Haiti mouse pad? Do you think that exists?
No, definitely not.
Because if it did, he would have bought it by now.
Oh my god!
Savaria. From
That
Valkyria
Sylvaria
Chronicles.
would definitely be a good
Good
one
mouse
for
pad.
sure.
You might be a little. Your wrist might be a little too raised though. It might be not very ergonomic. Yeah.
It's the price we pay, Brad. It's the price we pay
To protect our wrists.
to protect our wrists.
Do you know there's a Haiti mod for Resident Evil 5?
Oh no! Are you kidding? Okay.
Not-
There is.
All right. Skittles says, with the hype of Red Dead 2, I purchased the Ultimate Edition and got that sweet steelbook case. Does anybody feel that way about steelbook cases? I always hate those
No.
things. Played through most of Chapter 4 and
I like
got burnt out. Hunting, fishing, outlawing. What games were you ultra hyped for and just had to dig deep to finish? Also, Final Fantasy 15 is my honorable mention. Moments before the last boss fight, I quick saved and haven't played for almost a year.
I don't understand the question.
The question is, what games have you been ultra hyped for, but found out you had to dig really deep to finish? And then I guess
Dig deep to finish.
the real question is, what games have you been super hyped for but didn't finish because
They
you
didn't hold
realize
your
it takes
interest.
so much to finish it? I mean,
A recent example for me would be Shadow of War.
You were really hyped going into
I was really interested in that game.
Fallout 4.
that? Interested.
I just like fucking petered out.
I
I
think
mean,
a lot of people.
I did.
fall off
I've tried getting serious about beating that game
Yeah.
twice, and I really
Fallout
enjoy
4.
it when I'm playing it. But like, I can't. Like, it's not like sucking me in like Red Dead 2 is.
It's really.
well, Subnautica for me, yeah, but that's extenuating circumstances. Like I've
You
not
have
been,
child.
I've not been playing PC stuff this year because.
Yeah, I have
It
no
doesn't
doubt.
really
I
work
have
out.
no doubt.
But I have been playing Subnautica.
If this was Brad pre-Brad Dad, he'd probably have beaten Subnautica
Yeah.
long since. Also, I don't know if I was super hyped for this, but it is definitely a game that I dug into and I still want to go back to, but like I haven't gone back to it yet, and I don't know when I'm going to find time to. But Persona 5, a game I absolutely adore. I put it on my top 10 last year, but like I played like 30 hours of that, and I want to play more of it, but I haven't
feel
found
like
a chance to get back to it.
everything this year for me has been kind of a.
I mean, it's been a year.
struggle.
It's been a year
to get
full
there.
of some really.
I still have 2 chapters left in
games.
Valkyria Chronicles.
I still have like 12 or 13 chapters left in Valkyria
that's
Chronicles.
not a short
to work.
All right. Racket Lord says, "What's up, bitches? Longtime fan, first time patron. I may not have much extra spending cash every month, but this is the least I could do to support you guys after all these years of entertainment. Well, thank you very much. Out of all the streams you've done and events you have covered over the last decade, which one stands out to each of you as the most memorable? I will always be partial to your group events like the Halloween marathons and Project M's, but I always consider the first 4PP stream I ever saw to be particularly memorable to me. It was David and someone else playing Rock Band 2, complete with a fog machine, strobe lights, and receiving noise complaints from the ladies who lived in the apartment next door. Been a faithful stream lurker and podcast listener ever since. Here's to 10 more years. Who was that? Who was playing with David? Was that Carlos? I feel like that would have been a Carlos thing.
No.
Oh, no. I bet that was Juan.
No.
No?
I don't know.
Anyways, the question is, what has been our most memorable or favorite event that we have covered or done in the past 10
Project
years?
M2.
Yeah.
The Super Mario one?
Yes.
Yeah, Mario
Super
64.
Mario 64 Project M was great.
That was pretty incredible.
That was a pretty
We
fun
had
day.
a band during fucking intermission. We had like
You're right.
$3,000 donated, which half of it went to charity.
$4,000 actually, I think.
What'd you
30 no,
do with
this
the
is-
rest of that money, Nick?
Oh, I pocketed it. Oops. No, I'm just kidding.
I like the stream we did from the Microsoft store
oh
down
yeah,
in Houston.
that was when we raised $4,000.
That was when I was introduced.
Yes, we played, and a lot of that stream
We
was
were
spent
playing
playing.
U-Star.
Well, no, a lot of that was spent playing Techno Kitten Adventure or whatever it's called.
All kinds of random.
That game wasn't bad.
Yeah, I remember when you went to that, but that was before I was around.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to give a shout out to, because you also talk about events we've covered, I'm going to give a shout out to the Project Natal press conference from my second E3 I ever went to.
Oh, events. Okay, sorry.
Where, you've seen it all. The fucking,
Man.
the weird football pads and the
Yeah.
In the moment, it was
Cirque
pretty
du
stupid,
Soleil.
though.
I still think fucking PAX Prime. What would that have been?
Oh, that one.
2012.
That one.
Yeah, Camdrome.
Camdrome, yes. That was
God, that was so much fun.
that was a great event. I think I'm going to
So
go to
much
PAX
fun.
this year.
I think
I've taken enough years off. I think this year is it. I'm going to PAX.
The return.
I'm doing it. Who's going with me?
you mean PAX South or
No. West. PAX West.
okay.
Who's with me?
Wait, when is it?
August.
Next year.
Oh, August
Yeah,
of
next year,
Then,
definitely.
yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yes, thank you, Crispy. Also, the Halloween marathon we did not last year. Remember what was last year? I don't remember. When we played the bunch
2
of
years
VR
ago.
stuff. Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That was great.
that was the hot dog.
Oh, remember
The hot dog, yeah, the
remember
hot dog
the
night.
8-bit salute stream we did where we played Fatal Frame at your apartment over there by Wells Branch?
Oh, yeah.
And we did the Ouija board?
Oh, I forgot we did that.
Who we ate?
Yeah.
Fuga Who We Ate. Oh, my God. Yeah, those are all great moments. Thank you so much for the memories. Thank you for the support.
No,
We appreciate it, Rackathorpe. What's up?
Also, E3 2015, just covering that was like amazing.
Which one was that?
That was the first year of Bethesda. That was when the
Oh, yeah.
massive Sony conference.
That was pretty incredible. That might be one of my favorite E3s for sure. Live at the Milky Way says, what's your all-time favorite set piece from the Hitman series? Mine's probably the Swamp Wedding from Blood Money or the Shotgun Palace and Silent Assassin. Brad, go.
Man.
That's a hard question.
Yeah, don't make me choose.
You can't pick pick the Swamp Wedding or the Shogun Palace. I said Shotgun.
I like A New Life from Blood Money.
That's the
really
hot
good.
dogs.
Yeah.
Who wants hot dogs?
Favorite Hitman level? Is that the question?
Yeah. Or favorite set piece from Hitman.
Set piece.
Basically, a level is a set piece in that game. I think it's safe to say, right?
I really did enjoy the Heaven or Hell party at in Blood Money.
Yeah.
Huh.
That was pretty good.
I never got that far. All right.
I like the club, the meatpacking plant and contracts / club.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a good level.
Yeah.
None of us are going to mention Absolution.
Was it
Don't
like
even
was
try.
it like I don't
Oh,
know.
the
It was
hot
like some-
tub in Blood Money
some
where you
sort
can
of
shoot the hot tub
goth
from
Playboy
underneath.
Mansion knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
You better watch out is what it was called.
Yeah, and
That's
then
what it was.
The ice palace where they have the hot tub and
Remember
that's cool.
Blood Money when they had cool inspired level settings?
Nah.
Yes. All right, and Zero Skies. We talked a little bit. He said, "What kind of deals did you go for Black Friday?" Anybody have anything they want to mention?
How about a few movies?
Yeah, dude. I just
I
went
mentioned
on.
already.
I went on Amazon and just bought like a handful of movies that I know I like that I wanted that were like on sale for like $5 or $6 each.
I didn't buy anything.
I got that new Jumanji movie for like $5.
I got it too. Yeah, I
It
got
was
the
so
same
good.
deal.
That movie is way better than
I
has any
haven't
right
seen
to
it
be.
yet.
Well, like,
You haven't
giving
watched it
watch
yet? I've
again.
seen it. I've watched it like
I've watched
4
it a
times
few
already.
times, and it's
Really?
still
Well,
entertaining.
dude, I also
Okay.
live with Robin, who like loves rewatching movies. So like
Me and my wife got
Dude,
into an
it's-
argument. She's like, "You never rewatch movies."
dude, I've seen.
And I'm like, "Well, I'd rather experience something new."
have you seen my tweets lately? Remember when I told you that I've seen The Mummy like 5 times
Yeah,
this
you're
year?
a rewatcher.
I've watched it
Don't
twice.
blame it on here. You're a rewatcher too.
I've watched it twice
Fucking-
again
I
since
watched
then.
Jesus.
God.
I mean, I haven't. She has, and I just was present.
Were you watching her VHS copy or?
No,
did you
we got it
upgrade
on
to
Blu-ray. I got it on Blu-ray, and yeah, we did watch Aladdin though on VHS.
I watched Aladdin recently.
On VHS?
Henry doesn't love it. He only likes Moana.
He's like 2. He's not even 2 yet.
No, he only likes Moana. He watched it.
He will
Today.
learn.
All right, last question from patrons. I have one more from a Twitch subscriber, but SMG Sterling says, with Fallout 76 being a colossal failure, Red Dead Online being seemingly pay to win, and the new Diablo gaming being mobile, it's made me think, what has been the biggest disappointment in gaming for you guys so far this year? He has more to say, but I think I'm going to leave it at that.
Biggest disappointment
Biggest disappointment in gaming
so
for
far
you this year.
year.
We do have an award for this at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what's actually been disappointing.
It's been a
for me.
pretty satisfying year.
Chat, what's my disappointment? Y'all would know. 'Cause
Metroid Prime 4 not being at E3.
The lack of anything from Nintendo other than the Smash.
I think Nintendo's sophomore year of the Switch might be a pretty solid overall disappointment. But even then, I was thinking about it the other day. Maybe it's just that the games they did release for the Switch this year didn't really appeal to me so much because they've had a pretty good year. Pokemon's doing really well. Super Smash is going to be a huge hit, but like just neither of those games really do it for me. It's not. That would be the equivalent of like Zelda and Mario from last year. Those are big franchises, big
What's
games.
been a disappointment? That new Castlevania game. No, that game was dope.
Which one?
Curse of the Moon. If that's what he's talking about. No, that game.
Maybe.
Bloodstained?
How about your first time playing
not
Bloodstained
Bloodstained.
Ritual of the Night?
Ritual of
The
the
demo,
Night.
the actual
Yeah,
demo.
no, but that's not even the first time I played it. And no, that doesn't count. Octopath Traveler, that was pretty disappointing for me.
Thanks for that, Jaeger.
Yeah, I mean that might be. I've been thinking. I don't know if I,
I
was
mean, I
ever.
really think Fallout 76.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's a big one.
but I had already kind of accepted my fate that I wasn't going to play that, even if it was great.
Cool. You know, I didn't really mention it, but I watched a couple movies. I'm not going to talk about them in detail. I watched like Incredibles 2 and Ant-Man finally.
Oh yeah.
Ant-Man was pretty good, but there's a line at the beginning of that movie. Is it Ant-Man? That's so funny. It's so fucking funny. Where like she's trying to recall this memory of like, wait, was it in a wardrobe? That's like,
Oh yes, the wardrobe line. Oh, that was so good.
and she's like, yes, I used to hide there every single time. And he's like, that's really kind of not a good way to play hide and seek or some shit like that. And I thought that was so funny. Sorry.
I don't remember specifically what it was, but that was
No. Well, there's a joke about the wardrobe, but it was just like a little one-off line of like,
You don't really understand the concept.
yeah, you
of
really
playing
don't
hide and
understand the
seek.
concept
Oh,
because she
wow,
hides in the
yeah.
wardrobe every time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
It's very funny.
All right. Any other big disappointments you want to mention? I have one more question, or two more actually, quick ones.
I say ask the question.
Thorax, who is a subscriber on Twitch, I believe. By the way, if you're a Twitch subscriber and you want to ask us questions, you can tag me in the supporters channel on Discord before the show each week, and I'll read your questions. Thorax says, "What games do you think Brad is a little too harsh on?" I don't.
Octopath Traveler.
I think
People
he's
hate
too
that I
harsh
hate
on Bloodborne.
Wait, I'm harsh on
There you-
Bloodborne.
No, but like
No, my
every
complaints are
every
from
time
a
we talk
very
about
personal-
Bloodborne, you do like take the position of like it's not as good as the others, and I think
But you know why
That's-
I say that, right?
I
It's not
understand why you say that.
Yeah.
I do get
I like
it.
the RPG
and I
stuff.
do understand that like it is a very flattened out like kind of RPG system compared to the Dark Souls games, but I just think
that. And
like,
I love shields.
I think-
I love the shields.
Right.
Where do you get good shields in games? Nowhere. Souls.
No, but you get them in Souls, but they don't have them in Bloodborne. But I think that the style in play and that like kind of the more ephemeral qualities of the game
Of Dead
more than
Space.
make up for that. Yeah, Dead Space.
By the way, you stole my
Yeah,
answer. I was going to say
Dead
maybe Dead Space.
Dead Space.
Because you can't talk about you can't seem to talk about Dead Space in a positive light without mentioning that Resident Evil 4 is better.
No.
It's like your
Wait, me?
it's like your
I
quality.
don't even bring it up that often.
It's like your no. It's come up before. It's come up before, Brad.
With you,
but
Brad,
it's
it's
not
attached to the hip.
It's no, but I'm not. I'm never talking about Dead Space. What are y'all talking about?
Sorry, this was a bait
I like
question.
Dead Space. I'm not mean to Dead Space. I like
Stop
Dead
being
Space.
mean to Dead Space.
I'm not. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Every fucking game I like ever.
I mean, it's a little bit overrated, but like, I'm mean. I'm way more mean to like things that are like unjust, unfair.
you know
like
what?
Spyro.
I will say this.
I'm like unfairly mean to Spyro.
You said nice things about it today. I will say this, and I don't mean to start anything. I don't want this to turn into anything.
Why are you
do
saying these things?
But-
I do think you are a little hard on Octopath Traveler because your position is that it's a terrible game when in fact the problem really is that it's a fine game, but people just blow it like the hype level.
No,
around it
it's
is
a combination of both. I do think it's bad. There is like one dungeon design in that game, and it is 2 rooms and a joke.
see, there you go.
You know, I think that
I didn't mean to talk about it. Let's move
I think
on.
the world
Started-
design is shit. I think the writing is shit. I think that like it's so fucking low budget. All these like little stories.
Well, there's your evidence right there, guys. Fuck. Dude,
Like I like on paper, bullet points explain to you why I think it's a bad game. But yes, combined with all that other stuff is why I'm a d-bag about it. But like I have admitted to that. So I mean, yeah.
fair enough.
Also, I think you've been a little bit harsh on Hitman tonight. Hitman 1 and 2.
We've answered
That
this
was
question.
more of a philosophical discussion about game design and like
This was a bait
finding an
question.
audience. I mean, I wasn't being mean about it.
Thorax has lost his ability to
say you're
ask
being
questions.
Yeah.
Thorax can never ask questions again.
God damn you, Thorax.
Uranium Bullet has our last question tonight. He says, have any of you considered careers in gaming journalism? Like most of us here,
That's not a career.
like, I'll be honest. I thought about it for a hot second, and then I started hearing more about like, you know, a lot of the people I follow that I listen to on a regular basis. I don't mean this sounds disparaging, but like, you know, they still live in like 1-bedroom apartments. You know, like it doesn't sound like the most financially stable
No.
career.
And it doesn't even
and if I
exist
didn't
anymore.
and if we made our own platform, I suppose. So I mean I enjoy what we do, but it still gets to reap the benefits of having a full-time job.
YouTube and Twitch
financial
basically
stability.
destroyed the prospect of having a job
That
like
is-
that. So
That's also partially true. Thank you for covering your mouth, Brad. Anyways, let's move on. He goes on to say, like most of us here, talking about them video games makes us happy. I make good money at the factory I'm working at, but I don't want to do it for the rest of my life. I've been considering going to school for journalism with a minor in Japanese, but I'm still on the fence about it. Is the market for it too saturated and closed off to make a decent living out of it, therefore making it too risky? Would love to hear your thoughts. I also heard Nick say in previous podcasts that he likes knowing where viewers are from, and I'm from Kentucky.
my degree is in journalism, and let me tell you, it's
Your degree's in journalism?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
'Cause
that.
I chose it because I thought it was a good profession to go into.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
I
a
was-
fine field to go into.
It's a good field in theory to go into, but if you want to make money, that's not the field you go into.
and
at all.
also
Yeah, there's like
video game.
double-digit people making money in fucking video game journalism, whatever the fuck that even means.
yeah, video games. It's such a niche category of entertainment or even news that it's not.
I don't know if the entire
You can't
sector
expect to
is
have
niche.
a.
I think the sector of journalism is niche. It's like if you want to go into journalism, video game journalism is not where you're probably going to make it. Like the people who make money as game journalists are like the people who you can count on 2 hands,
Mhm.
maybe even one, whose names are like household names in the industry, like Jeff Keighley, like, you know, those kinds of people who have made a name for themselves over the years.
Jeff's not even
who
a
are-
journalist.
I know, but like he got to start doing that kind of stuff, and he is kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
He has his hands in all kinds of things in the game industry. He commentates on stuff. He asks hard-hitting questions. You know, in many senses, he is a journalist, or he was at one point in his career. Like those are the people who've made successful careers out of game journalism. I think most people. There's a lot of people who go to write for a magazine and write for a website, or you know, appear on a podcast once in a while. I don't think that's their main form of income. Probably shouldn't be.
You think we're funded by Patreon?
Yeah, we are. Our Patreon is lovely. We appreciate it.
Yes.
But it keeps the lights on and the cameras rolling and that kind of stuff. It doesn't really support us individually in any sense of the word. So, I don't know. I mean, it's if you love it, by all means, do it. If you're happy, like at some point, it doesn't matter if you're not making bank if you're really, really, really loving what you're doing. So I would never discourage you from doing something that you really want to do. But it's good to have the right expectations going into it.
Just be really good at your job.
Yeah.
Really know how to write.
You got to be able to set yourself apart from, the thousands of people who want to start careers in game journalism.
Yes.
So
Pick up a copy of the AP Style Guide.
Yes.
there we go. And that is our last question for the night. Thank you guys very much. I know it's been a couple weeks since we had a show. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the questions. And now we need to wrap this show up so we can get out of Nolan's house because he has to leave for a trip here very soon.
He actually came up like 15 minutes ago and said night, guys.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how we're gonna get out of this house. So, anyways, we're gonna do the 4-player minute starting now. Hype,
Okay.
sweat, thank you, and fuck you, Brad.
My thank you is
ahead.
going to go to the PlayStation Plus games next month because
Good stuff.
Onrush is on there and Iconoclasts is on there, and those are two like kind of cool but underplayed games from this year. So I like that more you guys get to try it because it's worth it. I'm glad that Onrush went PlayStation Plus because I mean really that's the only way it's gonna have a fucking player base these days. So definitely try both those games. They're actually quite cool. My fuck you. I'll say my fuck you. My hype is going to go for a December game that I think looks pretty cool. It's called Wonder Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, and I thought Tetris Effect had the best trailer of this year. I challenge that because Wonder Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, the last trailer they put out was incredible, and I'll prove it to you when I show it tomorrow. Remind me. My sweat is for the Game Awards because for as easy as it is to get really excited about all these potential wonders, I think there's always that other side where you get kind of not just let down, but stuff is a little different than you were expecting it to be, or this thing that you thought was coming is actually something different, and maybe you're a little bummed, like we could find out with like Avengers and stuff. So I'm a little worried too. I'm excited, but I'm worried, cautious. My fuck you for this week is going to go to all of you out there, all you fuckers who didn't, I'm not saying expected Fallout 76 to be bad, but like you should have been cautious from the beginning. And I've been warning you since it was announced, when it was rumored that, or when they found out that it was Battlecry Studios that was developing this thing. If you did the fucking research, you know that this was never a really, Bethesda Game Studios developed game. This was just some fucking side project, made by a studio whose namesake was a game that got canceled because it wasn't good enough to release. From the beginning, we knew that there wasn't like these great talented people behind it. And I'm being a little mean, but yeah. I was not surprised when Fallout 76 got shit reviews, but everybody on the fucking planet was. People were trashing like GameStops and stuff. It was absurd.
How about you just say the pedigree wasn't there?
The pedigree wasn't there. And you should have known.
All right, Patient Zero, come on.
No, that's it.
Oh, cool. All right. Chris Davis.
Okay. My hype this week is for Just Cause 4. That's out, I believe, next week.
Next week.
And Digital Foundry did a video this past week about them testing out a couple of different versions of it. And it looks to run a hell of a lot better than Just Cause 3 did.
Well, that's
on
good.
consoles or just PC?
That was the PC demonstration, but supposedly on consoles there's been significant improvements. But yeah, Just Cause 3 I had a blast with. That was my first Just Cause experience, and I'm really looking forward to this. A fucking tornado, man. That's persistent on the map. You can do
There's
whatever
a
you want.
tornado?
Are you going to be playing it, Brad?
Gameplay, yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Well, yeah, it looks
For sure.
really good. I want to play
Yeah,
it.
it's probably going to be super fun.
My sweat this week, it goes to the new BattleTech expansion that just came out. a few weeks back, I finally beat Battletech after putting about 80, 90 hours into it. And this expansion is getting really good reviews. And it's adding a bunch of story content.
You don't want to let yourself get sucked
and I don't want to get sucked in because I know I will, and you're not gonna see me. I'll be gone. It'll be the end of the year before you see me again. So, but God damn,
Except for on Thursdays.
so
You
good
should be
this
here
year.
on Thursdays.
Yeah. My thank you goes to you guys for preemptively getting in your Game of the Year lists in on Monday when they're due, so I can start preemptive production and getting everything done. And my fuck you is going to go to everyone on the staff who's not going to get them in on time on Monday.
I see what you did there.
Because they
Hey, you
better
know what?
get it in because
I got a
we've got shit
notification.
to do.
I got a notification today. You know why? Because it's on my calendar.
Good.
But let's
Are you going to do anything about it?
Yeah, but let's remember here, that final list ain't due till the end of the month. So
Yeah, but give me that preliminary list so we can start building things.
don't worry about a thing, Chris Davis.
I want to get this done before February.
It's good to want things.
My video is gonna go up in February.
No, you're not getting a video at all then. Fuck you.
Crispy?
I'm doing 4 hypes. Ready?
Attaboy. Do it.
I'm gonna
Do it. Do it.
Fire.
2 video game hypes, 2 non-video game hypes. We'll start with a video game hype. My first video game hype is for Red Dead Online. Haven't played any yet. Think it'll be pretty cool. Can't wait to try it out. Non-video game hype, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Hell
Has
yes.
been getting crazy good reviews.
I got my
Some
tickets.
people saying best superhero movie of the last 10 years, good. Which,
What
Who
was,
saw that
what was
go?
10 years ago?
well, 10 years, 2008, that would have been Iron Man.
Supposedly the best
is that
Spider-Man
what they're
film
saying?
ever made,
Like-
period.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's,
I mean, all
that's
the
the
super-
entire age of Marvel.
Yeah, all the
you're
good superhero
talking
movies
about.
were in the past 10 years, right? So,
Yeah.
So that's a pretty,
couldn't they just say ever?
So, yeah, best superhero movie ever.
Okay.
I guess. Sure, yeah, okay.
and that's fucking cool.
So, who knows? We'll see. I can't wait. Like, they released a full, 3 or 4 minute scene from the movie, and it was sublime. It was amazing. I can't wait. Video game hype, Rocksteady. What the fuck are they working on? I can't wait. I just want to see. Hopefully
Whatever it
we'll
is,
see
it's going to be trash.
Hopefully we'll see it at the Video Game Awards. It's been on my mind a lot
Lord of the Rings
the last
MMO.
few months. But yeah, it could be Lord of the Rings, a MOBA. It
Is
could
Doom
be.
Patrol
It could be.
DC or Marvel?
Doom Patrol is fucking DC. That is a good instinct, Chris Davis.
That'd be a good idea.
That's a good instinct. The original X-Men. And my second video game hype, right? Yes. No. Second non-video game hype is today, I believe. Adult Swim just announced that they are going to be having a Blade Runner 2049 anime that apparently has a lot of really talented people working on it.
Oh my god, flip that script. I heard that they're going to do a live action Cowboy Bebop on Netflix. And how? No. Don't do that at all. No.
But their last one turned out so well.
Live action Cowboy Bebop?
There's never been a live action.
No.
Yeah, there has. They did Death Note, and it was awful.
Listen. You
No,
do-
a live action Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, yeah.
No,
but it's not going to be
definitely
good.
don't do that. That is impossible to be good. No.
The director of the series is working on it, though.
No. No.
I'll believe it when I see it. All right. Are you done, Chris? Are you done, Crispy?
Yeah, that was 4.
Dang,
All right.
Spike.
My hype. You know what? I'm going to start with as an antithesis to Brad here. My fuck you of the week. Or not antithesis. This is in support of what Brad said. Fuck Netflix, man. Fuck you. You canceled Daredevil. You ruined my night. I hate life right now. I don't even know why I'm sitting here. I'm so angry. Fuck.
You know who the villain in Daredevil season 4 was going to be?
You shut the fuck up.
Dexter.
You shut the fuck up. By the way, they're starting to talk about that coming back. I'm so excited. My hype goes to the Game Awards. I know Brad is being, trying to be
Cautiously optimistic.
cautiously optimistic, right? And I'm also trying to take that approach, but
Remember, there was a time where everyone was hyped for a Nintendo announcement, and it was Cranky Kong and the new Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. That was a.
I'm excited for this Alien announcement, okay? I'm excited for the Alien announcement. I'm excited for the potential of some other unannounced projects being there. I'm excited to see what Obsidian's working on. There's a lot of potential here, man. There's a lot of potential. There's been some great stuff that comes out of the VGAs. Like I said earlier, we've got Last of Us, we've got Skyrim. No Man's Sky was eventually a good game.
Was it?
All I'm saying is it's exciting. If that Harry Potter open world RPG is, I will completely forgive if Rocksteady's a games as a service game.
That's a good environment to launch it in.
That would be a great environment, and pick up on some of that Fantastic Beasts hype that's happening.
I don't know about hype.
I mean, if it's Harry Potter related, there's hype. It doesn't matter if it's a good movie or not. Which, by the way, it's not a great movie. But the point is, it's a perfect time to announce a Harry Potter game, and there's never been an open world Harry Potter game. It needs to happen. I'm fucking excited. I hope that's there.
Wait, did you see that new Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah, I saw it.
And it's like, and you're saying no, it's not good?
I'm saying it's the worst of the series.
The 2-part series?
No, I'm saying I'm including all Harry Potter movies. I would say it's the worst.
Yeah, and the last one was the second worst, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
but
like saying
I would
Prometheus
also
are the bad
but I would
alien
also say that the first Fantastic Beasts is a fine movie. Like, it's not my favorite, but it is a fine
So what you're
movie.
saying is this is the Alien Covenant of
This
the
movie,
Harry
this
Potter
new
series.
Fantastic Beasts has lots of problems the first one didn't have. How's that?
Wow.
My sweat goes to the Alien Blackout
I
trailer.
already had some problems.
Wait, what?
It aren't nothing. Good. Alien Blackout.
Alien
trailer.
Blackout. I'm excited, but I'm also like, come on, this isn't going to be like Alien Isolation. It can't be. It can't fucking be like I want nothing more than to see that trailer and be like, oh my god, it's happening again. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm a little worried about that. My fuck you of the week goes to Skybound Games. I didn't mention this earlier, but on my trip this past weekend, I started Hollow Knight over again on the Switch, and it plays like a fucking dream. I love it to death. I'm going to finish it this time. I can't fucking put it down. My fuck you goes to Skybound Games because they were going to publish a physical edition of Hollow Knight, and they canceled it for seemingly unknown for no reason, or none that they've been public about. And we're back to square one with there being no physical edition of Hollow Knight, and I want that fucking game in my fucking hands.
Are you physical on the Switch? You mean
anything? I want it. I don't care what platform. I like it on the Switch because I think the Switch at this point is my favorite version of the game.
See, it might not be cost effective to do.
Dude, every fucking indie game under the sun
That's true.
is getting a fucking physical edition. And
Yeah,
you're
if they're
telling
like
me,
limited run games or like really basic, very small runs. Like,
dude, Subnautica's getting a physical edition next week.
yeah. And how many copies are they
Is
printing?
that not
5,000?
worthy? That's
No, it
an
is
actual
worthy.
game that
No,
you
it is
finished.
worthy. And you know what else is worthy? Fucking Hollow Knight's worthy.
You haven't finished all of them.
Man, fuck Skybound Games. That's all I got.
Is Subnautica going to be on people's Game of the Year lists?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You
It hit 1
monster.
It hit,
you
it hit
How
1.0
dare
this
you.
year? It
What?
hit 1.0 this year.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then it counts.
Beginning of the year. Of course it
Of course
counts.
it counts, you bitch.
Yeah.
I'm
You
sorry.
were giving me shit
You make
not
the
a
videos.
couple hours ago.
You know
And I
what?
will
You know
until the
what?
day I die.
You know what? You make the videos, we make the rules. How about that this year?
Do you really want videos then?
Hey, all I'm saying is Spyro's
You gonna make
fucking-
sock puppet videos? with your
Spyro
top
looks
10s?
new to me.
Wait,
Game of the year.
that's such a good idea.
That's
What?
not a bad idea.
Wait,
you
what?
know?
Wait, what? What
A
was it?
sock puppet video.
Ooh, that's fun.
That'd be
All right.
Carlos's.
We need to go, guys. Thank you so much for listening. This has been another episode of 4Player Podcast. We appreciate everyone who tuned in to watch us live on 4pp.tv. Tune in next week. Like I said, no regular podcast on Thursday, probably. We'll probably instead do a live commentary. You can join us right here. We'll be sitting on these couches watching the Video Game Awards and reacting live. And then we will try and figure out some kind of podcast content to get up next week. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll figure it out. And then, of course, we'll return back to our normal, regularly scheduled podcast the following week. So, thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you for watching. We will catch you next week. Good night.
Night.